Welkom bij Dikke Svekke's Geeky podcast. Bedankt om te luisteren naar de vorige 2 afleveringen. We hebben al heel wat positieve commentaren en support gekregen, waarvoor dank trouwens. Mocht iemand geïnteresseerd zijn om de podcast te steunen, dat kan in de hosting en de productiekosten, de materialen, etc. Dat kan vanaf nu op patreon.com/Dikke Svekkes Geeky podcast en eenmalig op Ko-fi. Dat is ko-fi.com/Dikke Svekkes Geeky podcast of PayPal Pools. En de laatste kan het makkelijkst via de website. En trouwens, ga ook eens kijken naar de website dikkesvekkesgeekypodcast.com. Vandaag is het de 3e aflevering. En we hebben eigenlijk exclusief een Engelstalige podcast. Dus ik ga nu switchen naar het Engels, Chris.
Go for it.
So Chris.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. So I know you personally, but I also know you professionally from 4MiniGeeks. That's your company, right? That's where we get this beautiful drawing from, painting. Obviously, you're a fan of dragons. That's one of the things I put in my introduction, and we can see it here. And I also have I'm gonna take it straight away, man. I'll talk to you about this. We organized a thing called Elftopia, and Chris did the map for it. And this is a drawing for the people watching. This is the original drawing from that map, like one of the original drawings. And it, of course, it has dragons.
I missed that drawing, man. Give it back to me.
Yeah. It says, thanks, Sven, man. You're never getting it back, man. I'm taking that.
No, it's yours.
No, we're really happy. I took it from the office to be able to show it here. So.
Well, no, it's cool. It's cool seeing that again. We're gonna be working on something else soon together as well. So.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, man. It's been a long time coming, and we can spoil it. I think we can spoil it. It's gonna be the new Elftopia map. Elftopia is gonna get a new map, and that's it. That's all you get. That's all you get. Okay. So I looked a little bit up, on your website and stuff, and on the net, and what I found about you is that you make fantasy and sci-fi custom baby cards and gifts. That's the thing that's written on your website. But I think you do a lot more than that, right?
Yeah. No, we started about 4 years ago, and we were looking for I had actually stopped painting for about 7 years prior to that, and my wife said, "Why don't you, Elizabeth?" She said, "Why don't you get back into artwork? You miss it. It's been too long." So we thought, how are we going to get back into it? Because art's one of those things that not everyone needs on a daily basis. So we'll get into it with birth cards. And we started at a specific convention called Fax.
I don't know that one. Never heard about it.
It's a small one, man. No one knows about that one. And we started doing birth cards. But what we noticed is that people actually liked the artwork I was doing. And so now it's actually more the artwork I sell, or the prints of my artwork that I sell there, than birth cards. So, which is cool, because I like doing my own stuff. But it's basically, for what I do for MiniGeeks, is basically fantasy. It's fantasy for children.
Yeah.
And that could be for dragons, it could be in a robot form. And it's basically a very soft side of combining, I suppose, children's books with proper fantasy. I mean, very detailed fantasy.
Yeah.
So sort of like D&D fantasy.
Yeah.
And combining those two, which I haven't really seen.
No.
And we did that, and people like it.
It is very unique.
Like it. Adults like it as well. So it took off from there, and it's just been getting, the paintings have been getting bigger, more detailed, and it's fun.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's very unique, because you're also the one that for the people that have seen the website and stuff, you're also the one that has drawn the logo, and for the Dikke Svekkes Geeky podcast.
Yeah.
And what I also noticed is that you have these little steampunk elements into there as well.
Yeah.
Is that also one of the things that you like? Because we never talk about that.
Well, steampunk is something I really like. But I draw robots as well. So basically, very sweet robots dealing with childish themes, I suppose. And one of the things I've noticed is steampunk. It's a beautiful art form. It's a beautiful cosplay. It's interesting. It's got lots of detail. So I don't go into steampunk in my work, but there are elements of it in it. So to speak.
I've noticed that in this drawing per se you don't have any steampunk elements, but I always see little gears or little brass things. Yep. I really like the material brass. I think it's a very beautiful material. Yeah. But isn't it one of the hardest thing to get right in a painting, like the color and the I don't know anything about painting.
The hardest thing in a painting, I find personally, is to get the atmosphere right. The details, the technical skills that you develop like anything else. It's just something there. It's the feeling you're trying to emote, and that can be done through a dreamlike, loose painting, it can, whatever. But that's the hardest part: getting the message you want to cross to someone else. So so the technical part is just something that you learn.
It's a skill.
It's a skill. You learn it. It's not, but it's the emotional content that you're trying to put in that's important.
That's I get that, because I used to be I went to school to be a photographer, and then I went to school to be a director because I wanted to make movies. And that's also like the technical aspect. I can teach anyone how to use a camera, even a video camera, in a day. Like in a day, right. I can teach you how to get the lighting right. I can teach you how
2 days for me.
Yeah. Well, no, but honestly, it is. It's easy. It's like, and we talked about this before. Like, you said, like, but like, just a drawing is just a skill, and it was hard for me to get that. And then I thought about it, and I was like, it's in movie making, it's the same, man. I can teach you how to edit in Final Cut, but I cannot teach you to get it right.
It's, you know what it is? I agree with you on that one. It's like the hardest thing for an artist or an illustrator in what we do is not the technical part. You learn that. It's like anything else. But the hardest thing, I think, personally, is finding your voice in it. Finding your
your thing.
Your thing in it, And that took me so long. That took me so long to find out. And
it is. I think as well. Like even the biggest artists, like they struggle with that, because you see, like even a Picasso has phases, and that he goes through, and people say like, but that's just the art thing. The artist, like a big artist, just developing like his style. But I think it's the artist looking for what he wants to make.
Yeah, you're always. I think anyone who I'm interested in personally is always searching. You're not staying still.
No,
you can't stay still in art. There's no point. You always have to search, and you can do it in very small increments so no one notices, except for yourself. But then you're still doing the right thing. If you're just staying there, that's not going to work after a while.
No. Also, I there's one thing I noticed, because I'm gonna say it right off the bat, man. We play a video game together called Fortnite.
I got something for you.
You do? Oh my god! Yeah, that's cool. I really, honestly, I can show you, because I didn't show Chris the intro that I've written about him, and the last thing I've written is proud owner of a Predator PC. Honestly, so Chris has a Predator, and he just gave me a sticker that says, "My awesome friend plays Fortnite on a Predator, and I play on a sucky iMac," which is true.
Which is not so sucky. It's a nice computer.
Yeah, but it's not a gaming. It's not a gaming computer. That's cool, man. I'm gonna keep that. I'm actually gonna stick it.
Man.
I'm gonna stick it on my work PC.
Your work PC, cool.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
So we play a game called Fortnite, and what I noticed in there is that you are
crap.
No. How can I say that? You are super focused, in a sense that there will be details that will capture all your attention all at once. And I think, isn't that like really hard for an artist to, well, not hard, but isn't it like hard for an artist to, no, actually it will get you more. Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, I'm just talking to myself right now. But do you have that in art as well, is actually my question, is that you will try to find inspiration around you and then find a little detail that just captivates you.
It's not the drawing or the sitting working which is the hard part. If when you learn, you have to learn it, and it takes a while, and you have to learn, for example, how to paint flesh tones, that sort of stuff. And that in the beginning is hard. That's a technical thing. Once you get beyond that and you get a certain confidence of what you're doing, it turns into ideas. The ideas are the hardest thing to get. And I got a great idea this morning just in bed. They just happen. You can't force it, and that's the annoying thing. It's not something you can force it all.
No.
So it just happens. It happens in weird ways. It happens through, like, for example, I was walking in a botanical garden, and I saw this flower. Well, my family saw this flower, and it looked like a dragon egg.
Okay.
And from that, we came to thinking, well, why don't dragons come from flowers? I'd never seen it before.
No.
And so in the last half year, I've been doing that constantly.
I've seen that.
It's just those ideas.
The flower dragons.
Yeah, it's just life. It sparks off ideas. So I think if you sit in a room and you have no external output, that's not
It just
good for an
won't
artist.
come.
You gotta live experience, and it just comes. It's
Yeah.
a very strange thing.
It's David Lynch
Yeah.
I'm a big David
Yeah.
Lynch fan. I think you are too.
Yeah,
If
I like
if I kind of sense
the
you correctly.
surrealistic, weird, yeah,
Very weird.
yeah,
And he has this thing when he explains things, he's always like, yeah, there is something that comes from the
nice, yeah,
and I think he gets all these things for like a lot of things
Mm.
come to him in dreams.
yeah.
But dreams are also recreations of what
They're
you
your mind. Sorry, your mind figuring out stuff, right?
figuring out
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
that's one of the explanations. Of
Yeah.
course, there's
Yeah.
more like paranormal
Yeah,
stuff that
Yeah.
people think. I'm not gonna express my feelings on that, but I think that like David Lynch is for me the embodiment of an artist being how do you say that, like captivated and also motivated by his surroundings.
he takes input from life, from everything,
from anything.
and he sees anything, and he can
It's crazy because have you seen the Twin Peaks?
Twin Peaks series,
yeah.
yeah.
Have you seen the revival?
No,
You should.
yeah,
It's not.
it's not going to be as good, obviously.
No,
no,
it's not as good. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not worse, but it's
Mm.
very different.
yeah,
And there's a thing in there. There's a very like non broadcast TV scene in there that is inspired from the atom bomb falling,
Yep.
and it's for me it's really like it's. People will say like, "Oh, that's arty farty." That's
No,
like
it's also a generational thing, right? That's his period of
that's his
Yeah.
period. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still that's what I say. Like now, if an artist now would produce that, it's
it's not relevant.
it's
so
not relevant.
Yeah.
It's not relevant. So people will say like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just mixed some stuff
Yeah.
together," and
Mhm.
But it's like it's really good because it captivates that moment really well.
Yeah.
And it's long, man. It's long. It takes like it goes on for 3-4 minutes where you just see
Yeah.
flashes of things coming together. But
Mhm.
it's very symbolic of war and it's still relevant because war is never over.
Yeah.
But it's really good, man. It's really good what he does with that, and that's for me that was like symbolic of an artist just taking in everything he can from his life now and his life
Yeah.
before and just
It's just a way of
expressing
it's
it.
just a way of looking at the world,
Yeah.
It's like, for example, I don't reference that much. Most of the stuff I do is from my head.
Mhm.
But what I do is I take mental notes when
Yeah.
I see them. I do look at photos, but I say to my daughter who's interested now, I said, look at how stuff works in life. Observe light. Look at how light is different at different times of the day. Just observe stuff, and you start making a mental note, and it's not going to be photorealistic, because a camera does that just as well.
Yeah.
But it's just a way of looking at stuff, and that's the way I think I tune myself into observing stuff. So I'll just look at, for example, I do a lot of conventions and beautiful buildings, really iron buildings full of ironwork, and I'll just stop, go and look at one of them for 10 minutes. You just observe,
Yeah.
and it's in the back of your head somewhere, and you can pull it out, and it's better doing that, I find, than looking at a photo. 'Cause
Yep.
it's more,
You're there, man.
yeah,
And it also changes. Like Turn Taxis is one of these buildings that
Yeah.
are, for me, is very inspirational because
definitely
it shifts all the way because you've seen it
Yeah.
during the day, during the
Yeah.
night, and during
changes.
and it changes
so much, yeah.
completely. It's
Yeah.
a completely
Yeah.
different building
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
The feeling is completely
Yeah.
different, and it looks like at night when it's dark. It also looks a little bit smaller,
Yeah.
even though it's huge.
Yeah.
It's gigantic. During the day, it goes on and on and on and on and on.
It's
But like during the night, it goes like to this. I don't know, man. It's very not claustrophobic at all because
Yeah.
I like being there. It's a
Yeah.
very nice building, but it changes completely. And the castle at Elftopia is that as well. It
Yeah.
changes completely, and it just captivates. Like
that's just a stunning. That's
feeling.
a stunning location, Elftopia. I mean, it's a I'm gonna say it, promote it. It's a fantasy fest that you guys have in
Thank you.
Belgium, and it's the biggest fantasy fest in Belgium.
that's true. Yeah,
and
thank
you have
you.
a lot of smaller festivals, but nothing as big as Elftopia. And
Thank you, man. Thank
I'm
you.
really happy to be part of it, and it's I'm gonna say it, man. It's my favorite convention in Belgium.
I can't say I'm not allowed to say, but I'm
No.
gonna say it. I really like it as well,
Yeah.
man. It's one of my own, I know, and it's
Yeah.
one of our team as well. But it's my favorite that we
Yeah.
organize because it's just so it's outdoors.
Yep,
Love
that's
that.
lovely.
It's fantasy.
Yep.
Love that as well. The people are
The
fantastic.
mixture of people there is
It's-
crazy. I mean, people at cons are very nice in general.
Yes. Yeah.
But Elftopia, you have different people at every single con. There are different people.
Yep.
You also have people who obviously go to all of them, but
Yeah. Yeah,
Elftopia
but
is really
still.
for the fantasy lovers, and they're not meant in a bad way. They're a strange bunch, but so interesting. You can just talk to so many different people.
And what is strange about Elftopia is that there's also a lot of regulars, like muggles,
Yeah.
coming to Elftopia, and they love it.
Yeah.
And they all transcend into this peace and love.
Yeah.
Like everything's cool, and it's
It's
I
very
don't know.
welcoming. It's a very
very welcoming.
atmosphere.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's kind of hippie Woodstocky, but it's more welcoming than that.
No,
It's not.
I mean, I've been to fantasy festivals where it is very hippie.
Yeah.
hippie-like.
But
And
this
that's
one
not
isn't.
that's not what Elftopia is. It's more of a the fantasy side.
It's
really,
that is.
without
That's
going
it.
too Wicca, without going too much in that direction. Also with the music, it's yeah, it's just it's good. It's
And
very good.
It's not too Disney-ish as
No,
well. Like
no.
it's not like you're going to Disneyland where
No.
but you still get that feeling. What I think is strange, because at the conventions we organize is, I'm the one in the team just being at the front. I'm
Yeah.
at the info desk a lot, and I don't get to immerse myself in the convention. But Elftopia is one of the few in which I am at the info desk, but I'm completely immersed into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
From the beginning, when they cross that gate, people are Elftopians.
You know, when
And
you
they
when
feel
you
it.
when I made the map for it the last year, I also wanted to have that feeling of going into a map, going into Elftopia as a different place.
Yeah.
And that is really what you experience when you go into the castle grounds. Basically, you're going somewhere else, and it starts from a bit further back when you go through the trees, and you
the
just have this
trees,
feeling of like, wow, I'm going somewhere special, and it really is.
It really is, yeah. That map helps us a lot as well to get into that feeling, because it's the first thing you see when you go into Elftopia, except the surroundings. But it's the first thing that you get in your hands, and you really feel like you're getting not a treasure map, because it kind of is, but it like you get you're a character in like Dungeons and Dragons.
That's right. You're one of the players in this bigger story.
Yeah, that's it. Because you've got to find your way, and you got all these weird characters lurking around, and who's an actor, who's not. It's amazing,
it
man.
mixes, man. I mean, last year was with John Rhys Davis.
Yeah.
And he was
Amazing
mingling
guy.
with everyone, and he's the guy who plays Gimli.
For people who don't know, it's
and
Gimli
a
and
lot
Lord of the Rings.
And no, he was just mingling with people, being very friendly, and it was you don't have that a lot of conventions. That you have the celebrities going out and dealing with the muggles.
No. But you know what it is? And that's what I think. It's Elftopia that does that.
Yeah.
Because both actors, and even like Anne Stokes, who's a big, like this is the year before that, I think, she's a big artist. And she still walked around, went to a couple of stalls. And Elftopia does that to you, man. It's just
it makes you want to look around.
Just makes you want to explore.
That's right.
And I'm not gonna say we do all of that, but because the castle is it's one of the nicest castles. It's
I mean,
so.
I one of the things I like to do is to see the grounds around Belgium. I like nature, and it is one of the most beautiful castles in Belgium.
It is.
It's not a huge castle,
but
it's just it's very proportionate. And it's very magical. It fits in the.
That's what I mean, man. From an artist's point of view, that is very interesting that you say that. It is very proportionate, because it's not a huge Disney.
No.
But it's just the way it's made. Is very captivating and very fantasy-like, in the sense that you got a little moat around it for people who haven't seen it, and there's mermaids, in the moat. And it's real. It's true. There's really come to Elftopia, and you'll see the mermaids in the moat. And honestly, it feels really real, because they're so good. It's really amazing. And just the way, like the color of the brick as well. It's one of these choices they made like back in, I don't know what time that castle is. It would be 1800 or 17 or maybe earlier.
The blue
even.
shutters and stuff. It's another thing I was looking at when I was talking about the map. We went for a blue color for the whole map. And that's basically inspired by the fact that the doors of the gate back in the time were painted a specific blue.
Oh, really?
So I said, why don't we make it blue instead of a sort of a sepia map? And it modernized it in a way, but it still kept it very fantasy-like. But it modernized it in a way, as sort of a strange way.
I also just a little bridge to something I found out. You're a big Lord of the Rings fan. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm a huge. I've done I've done books for a lot of. I've done inserts. I've done a cover for a book about Tolkien himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a.
I've seen a couple of your paintings online.
Yeah, they're awful.
No, honestly.
No, they're bad.
Oh, really? Because I've
Yeah.
seen one. Yeah, I think it's Mr. Frodo.
No,
And
that's horrible.
you think so?
So I've done one painting I like, and the rest I don't. But yeah.
How long ago is this?
Oh, over 20 years ago. Now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You change as an
You
artist,
change,
you know.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully you change as an artist.
I like there's one thing that's very characteristic to your paintings, and that's what you just said. It's the atmosphere in it.
Yeah.
And you captivate this kind of magical, like here it's the same. You captivate like a very magical standstill moment, but it still feels like it's moving. And I
Yeah.
had that even with your Lord of the Rings paintings. I still had that. Like there, I can see the dragon flying. I can see the little ship moving forward. Like he's touching it ever so gently to push it forward,
Yeah.
and I can see it moving. And that's one of the things, like movement. I don't know how to explain that, but it's one of the things that I see in your work, and that comes back. Like
I always I'm not a very dynamic painter. I'm not a comic book painter. They
No.
do very dynamic scenes, lots of motion.
Yeah,
but
action, yeah.
The stuff I do is more grounded in the moment, like a photo. It's
Yeah.
Because I used to be a hobby photographer, so it is a snapshot of a moment, and to me, it tends to be not too dynamic because I'm not doing action.
No.
But it is capturing a
It's
moment.
gentle.
Yeah,
It's
it is
very
gentle,
yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very. It has the whole thing, and that's what I think. Like it's continuing to talk about your work is one of the things that I think is the hardest. You're drawing ferocious animals, like huge
Yeah.
beasts,
Yeah.
and you're giving them like the little gentle touch, like this guy we're looking at now.
Yeah.
For the people looking on YouTube, it's easy, you can just see it, but it's like a huge dragon pushing a little ship with a little girl on it.
It's
with the
you know
tip
what
of
that
his
is?
nail.
You know what that is? That's actually being a father.
Yeah,
As soon as I became a father, I mean, not that I was ever an aggressive or
No,
whatever,
no.
but I'm just.
I don't see that in you.
It makes you softer, and it opens you up to that. Because if I saw my work now, 20 years ago, I'd be like, "What are you doing, Chris? What is that?"
yeah.
But it's it opens.
You
your
really
eyes.
think so? You really think that aging and being a father changed your way of thinking as well?
I don't know.
Or do you
don't
think
have a time machine. I don't have a time
No,
machine.
yeah, it's true.
I think I would have. I don't know.
Or do you think it's one of those things that you just have in you and just develops?
Yeah,
when
you how do I explain it? You just the things in life that you experience as a person, of course, is going to translate if you do something creative. And that is really a big part of 4MiniGeeks. It's basically a story of me as a father, and I can combine that into me as a troll in a painting or whatever. But like for example, it's experiences I've seen with my daughter, and because they're genuine things of being a father, other people can relate to it either in being a child themselves at one point or having children.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about art is that you can relate to it. It's not about the technical skill. It's not about that stuff. It's about if you relate to something and if you like it, and if you can see yourself in it. And I think that's what art is about.
Yeah, that's true. Because when what you're saying is that the skill is not necessary. Well, it helps though. Because
you need
it's
for someone to get their wallet out and pay money. Then you need to show that you can do something. Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be top of the field.
No.
To sell something.
Because when you look at outsider art, like people that have never been schooled or are like mentally ill, or there's some very powerful stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
Even though one might say they cannot draw.
Yeah.
It's not technically.
It's emotional. Yeah.
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
And when you combine that, and that's what I like about that, when you combine that very emotional, like raw feelings with a very skilled artist, it brings you something like this, man, and it just
thanks, man.
Honestly,
Honestly,
and it just brings a feeling, man. That's just nice. I'm captivated by this one. I really like this one. I really like the colors. I'm a very color.
You like strong color.
I like strong colors.
right.
You know that.
Yeah.
I really like that, and this is like it captivates me. I keep looking
Mm.
at it, so it's amazing, man. I really like it. Cool that you brought it.
Yeah, it's from an old children's book I did, and it was a girl who dresses up as a pirate, and I thought, well, I worked on a new book as well, and I thought, what would she look like in the mini geek style? So I did this as a wink to a children's book I did before. So that's where this one comes from. So
And which book was that?
that was Slaughterhouse. That was
It's
book
the one I
by-
wanted to talk
yeah.
about. Yeah. And which is your new book?
Yeah, there's a book coming out in about a week, I think, called Maandag, and it's with the author Jan Wouters. I worked with him before, and it's kind of a book which has dragons and robots in
Oh,
it,
cool.
which is really cool, and
Cool.
it's done by the company Clavers, which is quite a big Belgium children's book company.
Cool.
But I've kind of snuck in a few geeky elements into it. So it's Maandag, which means Monday,
Monday.
but also Moon Day
Oh yeah.
in Dutch.
Oh,
Maandag.
cool. Yeah, cool.
So it's about a boy who wants to go to the moon, and it's actually, I suppose it's maybe done a million times, but it's actually a unique way of thinking about it, and it's beautifully written.
You
And,
know what's funny is I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
what the book was about, and I didn't. And the funny thing is, I always dreamed, and it's too
Yeah.
bad I didn't prepare, but I always dreamed of making a short movie about a boy dreaming to go to the moon with his grandfather,
oh,
and
that's cool.
and they're building a rocket. So that was the idea.
Yeah.
They're building a like a spaceship
yeah,
in their garden,
yeah,
and then one like
bits and pieces here and there. Yeah.
bits and pieces
Yeah,
here and
brilliant.
there, and just
Yeah.
and the grandfather working
Yeah.
with him, and that was one of my very first ideas, and
you should do something with that, man.
I really want to, but I
Yeah.
just don't have the courage to write it all, and because
Mm.
I've written bits and pieces everywhere. I got these little books, man. I got 200 of them.
Yeah,
And I really should have looked for it. I should have asked you what the book was about, but I wanted to get the surprise
Yeah.
when you were here, and it's just like at the end of I know the end. The ending is very like he gets to go to the moon with his grandfather, and that's the end.
yeah,
Is it a dream? Is it not a dream?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the whole journey that he gets to have,
the journey, which is the fun part, right?
and that's the fun part,
Yeah.
man. And that is equal to going to the moon.
course.
And
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
it's really funny that
Yeah,
that's the same. Yeah, cool. And it's coming out when?
it's coming out on what's the date today? I think it's coming out on the 15th or 16th.
The 15th. Yeah, today is
Yeah.
the 7th, the day that
Yeah,
we're
something-
recording this.
something like that. One of my followers told me, and I forgot, but
About a
it's,
week,
no,
yeah.
about a week.
About a week,
Should
yeah,
be in the
cool.
shops, yeah.
And it should be like everywhere because it's big.
It should be, yeah. Clavers is a big company, and they're going to see if they can distribute it further. With the
Cool.
last book we did with them, they distributed to South Korea and
Wow.
Denmark, and
Wow.
Holland, and
Translate like
Translated,
yeah,
yeah.
of course, yeah.
yeah. So it did quite well.
That
But,
is cool.
Yeah, you can self-publish. The art world has completely changed now. You can self-publish as an artist. You can put a few €100 or a few €1,000 into a book, which we're also going to do. But the problem is you don't have the distribution, so
Yeah.
you don't have the power. I don't have the power as an individual to sell it to thousands and thousands of people. So it's more of a hope it does well, make something you're proud of, and sell it. But with a company, they get to push it.
Yeah,
but of
because it's
course-
their
yeah,
job.
It's
Yeah.
their job, but of course you get less profit. So it's kind of a what you want out of it. And the great thing with working with the publishers, you get a lot of people to see it.
Yeah, you get a lot of. They have to take it into their,
Yeah,
like rotation because it's
Yeah.
one of their books,
that's right.
and you get a lot of advertising out
You
of
do.
that, and that's. There's a lot of people like back in the day. I remember artists were like, "Oh, that's too commercial," but that changed a little bit, I think, because of you gotta fight against like things like the internet, man. You gotta fight against
the
big
publi- the
machines.
publishing world, it's all upside down. It's changed so much. Like years ago, man, artists would go with their portfolios begging at the doors of the publisher
Yeah.
saying, "Publish me." But now we have the means to do it ourselves, and the publishers are taking heed to that, and they're saying, "Whoa, what's going on here? We need to go to the talent itself and
Yeah.
and try to make sure that it doesn't all go away from us, because that's also our livelihood." So it's a strange combination, and yeah,
But that is happening though.
it
I
is
can,
really
I
happening
can,
with
can
vanity
see
publishing
that.
or self-publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's cool, man. Because I think things like Etsy, and I'm not really into like publishing and art, but things like Etsy and even just conventions.
Yeah.
It's really cool to get like a big platform to create like a big fan base, but to go that step further, like you say, you can use a company
Oh yeah.
to help
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and it's not a bad step, or it's not a commercial step. It is a commercial step, of course, but it will get you the fans that you want to reach.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you can say you do art for this and that. You don't do it for the money, but you do want people to see it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I stopped. A lot of my stuff was being made and no one saw it. So after a while, you're thinking, what's the point of that?
Yeah, yeah,
So if you have a platform, be it a convention, be it a book, be it whatever,
yeah,
you're gonna take it.
Yeah,
And that's
use
how
it.
you do it.
Yeah.
That's how the world works. And
that's yeah,
there's nothing mysterious or there's nothing magical about being an illustrator or an artist. It's a lot of work, but you do want an audience.
yeah,
In this
yeah, yeah.
I don't
course.
want an audience as me personally.
No,
But for your artwork, it's different. Some people do, which is fine. But I don't do it like that. I do
Yeah.
it for the artwork. I'm a hidden figure. Not a lot of, well, I suppose people know who I am, but it's not the.
yeah, no, you're not.
I'm
You're
not
not
the
the face of the company.
No, that's right.
No, I get that, and that's what I mean. Like the art itself lives on its own,
Yeah.
and when you see it as a persona on its own, like if you make a movie and you're the director and you're a
Yeah.
super famous director, okay, you can use your name to make the movie, to make the movie going. But if you're not a super famous director, just watch it, just see the thing that you made, see it as a persona, and forget about all the ego stuff that you think like, oh yeah, but I'm an artist, I don't want to, I don't want to be commercial. No,
Ego, yeah.
just forget that ego thing. See the art as a persona, and what would that thing want? It wants to be seen because it's been created, so
That's
it
right.
wants to be seen. So share it with the world, and if you don't do it by any means possible, that's not what I want
No.
to say, but use the means that can help you. And
Yeah.
I don't think that being commercial, which used to be like a thing in the
Yeah.
90s,
Yeah.
you're commercial. It's not a bad thing, man.
No, of
It's
course
a
not.
good thing. Because it doesn't mean that you're going to get heaps of money out of it.
No.
It doesn't mean that you're greedy. It means that you use the means
You
to
use the tools around you.
the
for the
tools
best,
around
yeah.
you to expand your fan base.
Yeah.
And fan base,
Yeah,
you know
people
what
who
I mean.
People like your work. Yeah.
You're
I
we're-
don't have fans. I have people who like my work.
yeah, well, it's they're fan of your work, but
Yeah.
it's not like rock stars,
No,
that
no.
love the person.
Yeah.
But
Well,
still.
we're not in Japan. I mean, in Japan, the artists are referred to as rock stars. There.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
different.
yeah.
That's a different story.
That is crazy though that you talk about that, because there was oh man, like it's a bit of a, all our listeners are 18 plus, so I can talk about
Yeah.
this. It's a photographer, and I forgot his name, man. Japanese photographer, like bit erotic,
Yeah.
and he's like a rock star there, man. He's one of the I'm gonna look it up because I really want to know
Photographer.
his name. Yeah, he's a Japanese photographer. Let me look it up. Oh man, these Japanese names. I think
Hajime Soriyama is an illustrator. He does pin-up robotic girls.
Yeah.
He's also big.
I haven't heard about that. Araki is his
Araki,
name.
okay, yeah.
Nobuyoshi Araki.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show him to you, because you're gonna
Yay.
love the guy. I'm well. The work is sometimes a little bit
Right.
He's
Risque. Yeah.
risque. Well, even further than that.
Okay.
It's sometimes straight dirty. He's got very beautiful things though. These are a couple of his things.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So he's got
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
nice things. And I'm gonna just click on him personally just to show you.
Yeah, it's kind of surrealistic and
Yeah. But he also has like I'll show you.
mixed bag of
So his wife got really sick at the end, and he's got a lot of photos of his wife. But look, that's a little bit risque. That's also a little bit risque. But that's Japanese culture, though. It's we're looking at a picture of a.
I'm not looking.
Well, you're not looking, but it's very
Yeah.
ways. So it's very
Yeah.
small bondage kind of thing. And this guy, look at him. I'll show you him. He's got like an eye patch and stuff. It's really funny. Yeah, this is him.
All right. Okay.
It- He's like an anime guy, man.
That's right. Tekken. He's the
Yeah,
Professor Tekken.
with that's crazy, man. He's a rock star, man.
Yeah.
He's in Japan, there's like people just throw themselves at
Yeah.
his feet and stuff. It's a very very strange.
It's strange because at one of the was it the last? No, it was a Japan Con, I think. You had I forget his name. The guy who did was it Legend of the Overfiend? He did
Tosha Maeda.
Maeda, yeah, and he came over. It was amazing to have someone from Japan.
That was bizarre, right?
Yeah, it was.
People
and his wife was sitting next to him. Very nice. I came to
Yeah.
chat for him for a second. But yeah,
He was
I think
there, man. That was
it
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy.
I have the cassette somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I got a signed cassette from him. VHS. I'm a VHS collector, which you know. And man, we had him once in Ghent, and I didn't really realize who
He
was.
was. Yeah.
And then I looked into it because I didn't really know the work because it's. I think I was a bit young when it came out, and it's kind of risque as well. It's Legend of the Overfiend, which
Legend
is like
of the Overfiend is
it's very good, but it's got the beginning of what they call hentai, which is like the erotic, very erotic pornography, animated pornography. But he it's the beginning of that, but he has these action scenes in there that are crazy, that are so well drawn.
The thing with hentai, I don't like hentai.
Me neither.
I love anime, but
me
not
too.
hentai. But yeah, if you're gonna draw that stuff, you're gonna have to be good at anatomy.
It's
as simple as that.
Yeah, because else it's just trash, man. It's just you know on the rest of the pile.
Yeah.
But what he did was like the drawing style makes me think of I don't know what it's called in English, but Ken le Survivant, Ken. I don't know, man.
Don't know, man.
Yeah, I've seen all. Yeah, it's gonna be.
You're talking. I'm just following here. It's not really my subject, but.
What is the name of that anime? Ken le Survivant. I've seen all these things in French.
In French, yeah.
Because they were Fist of the North Star.
Fist of the North Star. Yeah, Kinshiro. Yeah,
Kinshiro.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep.
It's sometimes the drawing is kind of the same. It's very realistic, very bloody, very hardcore, and that. But it was an honor to having Tosha Maeda.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I don't know if a lot of people knew who he was, but I was amazed that he was sitting there.
He's
with his wife. Yeah, he's a big name, man.
He's a big name.
He's a huge name.
And not only in like the hentai world, because he's done normal things as well.
Yeah.
He's just a huge mangaka, and in Japan, people treat him like.
Of course, and in Japan they treat the manga artists as rock stars, as we said before.
Like you
I mean, some of them have like Masamune Shiro. He's not known. He's known. Obviously, he's a big superstar, but no one knows what he looks like. He's,
really?
Supposedly a teacher, but
that's
crazy.
Crazy.
He has to hide his anonymity to himself. It's crazy. It's a very different sort of.
That's like the artist from One Piece.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but he also doesn't go to conventions, doesn't go to stores, doesn't go anywhere. There's been 20 rumors that he was dead or that he was really ill.
Yeah, but the Japanese way of working, man, with the manga stories you hear about the producers and stuff sitting outside of their doors, making sure they finish the last manga page, stuff like that, not letting them out of their apartment until they finish. Man. It's very strange.
Do you think that changed a little bit now?
I think the workload is very high in Japan. I don't know if they're majorly efficient because they work such long hours.
Yeah.
But it's a different society. It's a very different society.
It's a very different society because when you see everything that came out on Shonen, man, that keeps coming out. Like there's mangas and it's not like comics. You know, I don't want to be mean to comics because comics are very they've got very quality drawings, but it comes out a little bit slower as well. Comics, and also they're like a comics. I don't know, 25 pages. I don't know. But like those manga books, man, they're books.
They read them on the trains going to work. They're
books.
Massive. They're books. Yeah, they're books. And so to make that, it's just working like nuts. Or you have to be very fast at drawing. It's just a combination.
Yeah.
So they just go on a commuter train, read mangas,
That's
adults
crazy,
and kids
man.
alike, and it's a way to spend the time doing those long commutes.
And that's what always captivated me, that Belgium doesn't really like the French-speaking part of Belgium has a really good connection with Japan because they've seen it in the 80s and in the 70s already because of the translations of France. And France has
France is crazy with manga, man.
It's
if you guys are so far, the French are so far ahead. I mean, when I was looking for 20-something years ago, I was trying to look for Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yeah.
And I went to America. They didn't have it officially available.
No.
I had to get it from a shop. I had to get it pirated from a shopkeeper, for example,
That's
and they
crazy.
sent it back to England because I lived in England back then. And it's just availability now is so different, man. You
Yeah.
can find anime on Netflix. It's crazy, but man, I'm talking about 25 years ago. We went to like the small cons just to get a guy with a suitcase coming up, meeting in a pub, and buying
VHSs.
like a few £100 worth of anime, like a drug dealer in a way.
Yeah.
And it was really underground, and I suppose because of that, it was more appreciated. I don't know. I don't know if I should say that, but it was really underground. And
No, I get that.
And it was hard to find. So when you got a difficult title or something like that, it was like gold in your hands.
The
man.
satisfaction
was-
was
yeah.
just so much
Yeah.
higher. Yeah,
Yeah.
That I do get that. Because I was talking on the phone with a friend of mine, a French friend, and he's from Algeria
Yeah.
originally, and he went to Algeria on holidays as well. And he told me that he said like back in the day when I was a kid and I went back to Algeria, there were like anime movies that were on VHS. But but they weren't the real ones. He
Yeah.
didn't know that back in the day, but they were like the fake ones. But then Algeria, apparently, I don't know if this is true. This could I didn't
could be,
research
yeah,
it at all.
yeah,
Could
yeah.
be an urban myth. They paid like it's like a stamp that you have to put on there. So they paid tax to be able to sell the movie as if the real movie,
Oh wow. Okay.
but they weren't real.
Yeah.
But you could go through customs with them and just say like, yeah, it's got the stamp. He
Yeah.
paid the tax, man.
Yeah.
I just bought a real movie.
Wow.
And they had like and he said like closer when DVDs were easier to
Yeah.
burn. You could have like a movie that was in the cinemas a week before, and they would sell it on these DVDs.
Yeah.
And there was a stamp on it. It was
Yeah.
bootleg, man. It was all bootleg.
It's crazy, man. It's
Crazy times,
yeah,
man.
'cause,
This
I-
guy,
I-
it couldn't happen now. I think.
Yeah, well, it's so strange, man. As you know, I have over 1,000, or I had over 1,000 VHS
True.
animes because I'm a big anime fan, and now I've got a lot on DVD. But you can't find them so much at conventions.
No.
It's changed. The whole thing as a collector is so strange. I get upset about it bit by the fact that I go and I want to buy like a lot of anime, and it's just not available. It's either
No.
streamed or it's very strange.
It's very hard to get physical copy of
Physical
something you
copy,
like. Yeah. And as you can see, I'm a bit of a collector as well.
Yeah.
And I loathe the day that, they really will stop making DVDs and stuff, because
Yeah.
I don't really like DVDs as much as I do love VHSs, because VHS is for me like a vinyl.
Yeah, you're a kid of the 80s, like me and this. Oh, not a
80s
kid,
and
but you
90s,
love
yeah.
the-
I love it,
yeah.
man. I'm a kid of the 90s.
You're a
and
kid of the 90s, but you love 80s stuff.
I love
man.
it.
Look at your wrestling.
Yeah, I know.
80s wrestling, man.
That's
It's not
true,
the,
yeah.
Not the John Cena's. It's
No.
It's the
No,
Macho
there's no,
Man
yeah,
and-
I
it's
know.
Crazy.
It's, but I always, my parents had a lot of, tech things
Yeah.
in our house, and like we had a really good VHS system that could record like that could
Did you ever watch that thing? Sorry, Be Kind and Rewind.
yeah
and
of course.
they go into the place and go, the tape's not working, and the guy said, well, is it NTSC? No, it's
PAL.
it's brand new, man. It's brand new.
Oh yeah.
And I remember, man, my VHS had to be NTSC as well.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. You had to
'Cause of
kind of
the-
a combo because I could get the American anime
Are
tapes.
those the only two?
NTSC and I think
PAL.
PAL and NTSC, yeah.
PAL
So
is
you
this.
get a multi-region, just like now you can get
Yeah, you
multi-region.
can
well, I can't say
DVD.
it, but you can get multi-region DVDs.
Yeah.
Now they're illegal, of course, so I don't own one. But
No, of course. And the
Uh,
Japanese VHS, are they NTSC as well?
I don't know. I never bought them from
they're
Japan.
I think they're NTSC.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they used VHSs in Japan. I don't see them come out too
Yeah.
often. I think they might have used
I-
Betamax
I-
or something.
Yeah, could be.
It could be, man.
It could
Yeah.
be,
But
I-
we had like this double deck,
Yeah.
and then you would like lend cassettes, like VHSs from your friend,
Yeah.
and copy them to your own cassette. Man, that was
That was complicated, man.
that was
so
complicated.
man.
because you couldn't. It took
Yeah.
our
man,
one
You
took.
have to have a rocket. Rocket
Yeah.
degree, man. That
It
stuff
was crazy.
complicated.
I was the only one in the house
Who could do it?
who could do it, and it took as long as the movie
Yeah.
lasts, because you have to copy
Yeah.
it. People young people listening to this will not know what we're talking about.
No.
When back in the day, when you had a movie and you wanted to copy it on another cassette, so a cassette is, man, that's hard. A cassette is like a thing, like a plastic thing with
Plastic
tape in
box
it.
with
Tape in it, like that's the easiest thing I
tape,
could say.
yeah.
Yeah, well, like a magnetic strip on which the movie is written.
Watch Cowboy Bebop where they look for the tape.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. And you had to do it, and it took as long as the movie lasted because you had to.
You had to physically play it at the same time. Yeah,
you had to physically play
know.
it, and I was the only one who could do that.
Yeah.
And I was also the only one in the house who could program the record, like to tape something off the TV.
Yeah.
Man, that's also a thing that
we're so spoiled now, man.
We're so spoiled.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to tape things anymore.
It's crazy.
You just watch them back.
Netflix, man.
Netflix, exactly. I've
nuts.
talked about this with Steve from Brain Freeze.
Yeah.
And that's also a dilemma I want to give you.
Right.
You know, I always do these dilemmas. I have none prepared for this one because I wanted to go along as we spoke.
Right.
One of the dilemmas I gave Steven, and he thought it was a really hard question. But in this day, what would you choose? Would you choose the Netflix and the streaming? Because I know you got Netflix not too long ago. And you're a fan.
Ago.
And you love it.
I'm addicted.
Me too, man. Everyone's addicted to Netflix. But, if you could choose between the how do you say that? The record, like the video store. Yeah, the video store.
Yeah.
Or
Netflix.
You would choose Netflix, or what would you choose in this day and age? Imagine just like Netflix goes away if you choose the video store, and you have to go get.
I'm such a kid of the 80s, man. I love the 80s stuff and the Stranger Things and it all going back to 80s. But I'm a realist.
Yeah.
I'm a realist.
Yeah. I know.
Ease of but it doesn't compare to going into video library and choosing a video and getting annoyed that someone's taking and last one.
Oh man, that was so good.
Yeah.
You remember? I don't know. In the video store, in my video store, he had this system. It was pretty advanced, man. You had all the cassettes, and instead of taking the box, you could take like a little thing out of it. It was really cool.
That's right. Yeah, ticket,
a little ticket, a little label, and there were sometimes
for like the big blockbuster ones.
Yeah. There were multiple ones in there, and then you could see a guy just
take the last one,
last
and then
one,
like 5 or 6 of the new ones, but they always went quickly.
That was so fast.
So you had to be lucky to get it, and there was a fight, and then when you get it, the satisfaction, man. Probably a crap film, but the satisfaction.
I'm really getting goosebumps just thinking back to that.
Yeah.
I'm a very nostalgia-driven person.
Me too.
And it changed. It went up a few notches when I turned 30. I think that was for me the point that really it's not too long ago, but it just my nostalgia blew up. I think about my childhood every day. Not that I think like, oh man, it sucks being an adult, man. I would like to be a kid.
You have a childlike life.
I have a really childlike life with the cons. No, that's true. That's true.
It's a lot of work. I don't mean it like that, but
no.
You're dealing with fun stuff.
I deal with the things I like, and that's things I love, and that's a lucky thing. But
that's a hard one sometimes, though. Dealing with stuff you love, because if it turns into a job, so to speak, you have to be careful that you don't lose the love.
In the beginning, we did a lot of conventions. We did all of them.
Yeah.
We still do all of them, but now we got a system where we do speak to the exhibitors and stuff, for our convention. And in the beginning, it almost ruined it for me because I was like, man, I gotta work at these things, and but now I know everybody, so I take the time a little bit, and I watch at people's stalls, and it just it's back.
I think we had the same thing, man. The first time we set up in like one of those big halls, you're like, oh wow, we're part of.
We're
something.
Finally here.
We're part of something. And then after you do maybe 5, 6, you can see someone cosplaying as this and that. Like, I've seen it all before. But you can find new stuff all the time.
That's it,
you gotta enjoy it, man. Because if you don't, then do something else.
And those cosplayers, man, really, I don't say it enough. And honestly, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it here. I think like Comic-Con Brussels has like big prizes and stuff for the cosplayers. Because honestly, they're not all of them, of course, but like.
The time and the investment and that goes into some of those things, man.
Man, that is
and
crazy.
some of those cosplayers, man, they go to work in the professional field.
Yeah,
that's a showcase. The Comic Cons and stuff, they're a showcase for talent.
Of course, yeah, and they should get a job
should,
like in like special effects and stuff, because they make costumes. I've seen some costumes that are better than the movie ones.
I can believe that. I've seen museum pieces from Star Trek and Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was amazing, by the way. But some of the stuff like Star Trek's props and stuff, you're thinking, I've seen better cosplay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, have you seen that? Well, of course, everybody's seen him. The Predator guy, the guy that does Predator.
Which one? There's a few. Kevin Peter Hall. That's the first one where he died.
No, I mean like the cosplayer. The cosplayer.
Oh, the big cosplayer. Yeah.
What is his name? I think it's Paul something.
Yeah.
A guy from Antwerp as well, by the way. I think.
Guy who does Chewbacca as well.
I think so. Yeah,
he's
I think
massive.
so.
He's
got
so
a
tall.
man, and he's got
like
a super realistic Predator.
Yeah.
And he made everything himself.
Wow.
And he said like it's from tires, from bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like that.
Well, the original, the laser thing, that was a hairdryer, wasn't it? So
oh, really?
Yeah, it was a hairdryer. They modified it.
That's cool.
But
that's cool, man.
It's all starts off from something, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's I talked about this like in one of, I don't remember.
I think it was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about it, like Roger Christian. I was the one who invited Roger Christian to Comic-Con Ghent, and man, that book is interesting. I've read his whole book.
Yeah.
I still have to read I Am C-3PO by Anthony Daniels. I suppose there will be very interesting stuff in there as well. But Roger Christian is one of the guys that also did Alien.
Yeah.
But he's most famous. Well, he's not super famous, but he's most famous for making all the sets from Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that guy, man, that's interesting. He went to airplane scrapyards.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed. But like where bits and pieces of airplanes or complete airplanes were just left there, and then he could buy them by the kilo, you know. And he would just say like, I'll buy this plane, I'll buy that plane, all broken.
Well, you know the old I'm not the old. I'm talking about from like the 80s, the model makers who did stuff for Alien and that sort of stuff. Not Sid Mead, but I can't remember his name. But he used to buy just model kits, and just make spaceships out of
that is crazy.
airplane pieces and stuff. So it's just building stuff
like model bashing and stuff. Yeah,
basically, yeah.
Star Wars has done it as well. I think for the surface of the Death Star, it's like kits just bashed together, and the creativity that goes into that.
Of course.
Honestly, sometimes people oversee that, and like
you gotta start from nothing, man.
You gotta start from.
You gotta think about it, how to do it cheaply.
How to do it cheaply.
Well,
that's it, and do it well. Do it so that it doesn't look cheap.
Yep.
And honestly, I challenge anyone just to go out and take $100 and try to build something nice. Try to build a piece of decor that looks nice, that looks movie worthy. That is a challenge, man.
We did a zombie film for about €25.
Oh, really?
Back in the day, yeah, back in England.
How did you do the blood?
We had syrup and cornstarch.
Yeah, classic.
Tricky stuff,
cool.
But we did it for like 25 years. We had like 50 people working on it. We even had someone on an Avid computer doing the special effects.
Wow.
And it was just basically students and teachers, and it was a film course. And I looked at one of the films and thought I'd love to make a zombie film, and I was friends with a few of them, and let's do it. So we just bought some plastic guns in England, went to some abandoned hospitals. Got to lie in some morgue cupboards and stuff. It's crazy. And we just did it for 25 years. It was a really rubbish film.
But that's cool,
it was
man.
Fun, man.
That's cool. Because I think like zombie and like apocalypse stuff are the things that you can do. You can do them.
You can do them on the cheap.
Yeah, you can do them on the cheap. I think because it's basically our world, but just broken. Yeah. So you can get away with stuff.
Course,
you can get away with stuff. Okay, moving on. I've got a couple of things written down here. We already talked a little bit about anime. So let's jump on that.
Right.
What are your favorite anime films? We talked about that when we were chatting, when we were gaming.
Well, anime. If you say films, is difficult because most of the anime is series.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you
like,
want to divide it into series of films or what?
Let's divide it. Let's say like, what is your? I'm gonna go out like be more specific.
Okay.
What is your favorite Studio Ghibli movie?
Okay, my favorite is Kiki's Delivery Service for a bunch of reasons. It was the first one I actually got as a pirate sent from America, and the story you've seen it as well, man. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you like because it's a film where absolutely nothing happens. Basically.
No, I love it.
But it's very sweet. It's very gentle. It's I've got a daughter, and I can see she dresses up as Kiki as well. So it's
Yeah.
my all-time. Technically not the best Studio Ghibli film, but I love Kiki. I love.
I like the music.
Yeah.
I really like the music.
Hisaishi. Yeah, he
It's-
does a great score all the time.
It's very,
European.
very European.
Yeah.
Very European.
Yeah.
European. Man, I couldn't say it. Thank you. Because I went to Sweden and Denmark, and apparently the whole thing.
Yeah.
Not mixing up movies here. The whole city is based on like a Swedish city.
I've
I
heard
believe.
also they use parts in Belgium.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah.
that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I should look it up one day because
Yeah.
I wanna see, man. I just want to be
I
able
want to go
to.
there as well. I just
to
haven't got around-
recognize
I
it.
haven't got around to
We'll
it,
go.
but,
We'll go together,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
We'll go
definitely,
together. I
man.
wanna
We're
see
gonna
that.
We're gonna be fanboys, man. Going,
Yeah, and then just
that's
take
the
your
clock
laptop.
tower,
Look,
yeah,
look, it's here.
yeah, no, massive.
But who's
Kiki
gonna
fan.
play Kiki, man? I'll do the cat. You'll do Kiki.
You might be a better Kiki than me, man. I
You'll-
can see you with a red ribbon in your head. That'd be beautiful, man.
Then you'll do the key. You'll do the cat, man. You'll do
I'll
the
be
cat.
Gigi. I'll be Gigi. Nah, I love Kiki, man.
Yeah, I liked it as well. It starts really strange though.
Yeah.
Like it's really fast in the beginning. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
off to be a witch. See you later. And then
Yeah.
she never writes her parents. That bugs me the whole movie, man. I'm like,
yeah.
dude, you've been gone for
She does. It's mentioned
the
at the
end.
end, right at the end. Yeah.
But it's implied that she
It's
probably
implied.
like.
You know what? The Japanese films, they're a lot more subtle than American films.
Yeah.
They dubbed it over and with Kiss and Dunst and.
I couldn't listen to the English one.
They added soundtracks. They added bits in here because American audience supposedly can't have silence in films, and it ruined it for me.
Yeah.
So they did some nice translations later on, but Miyazaki really angry at Disney for
Disney,
the
yeah.
bad dubs. But I mean, some of the one dubs are good, like Howl's Moving Castle. That was a nice English.
Yeah, I've
dub.
heard that.
And
Are there any famous voices in there, like Kirsten
Yeah,
Dunst in this one?
Christian Bale is in
Oh,
Howl's
really?
Moving Castle as as Howl.
That's big, man.
Sophia, I forgot her name. But yeah, they got big names. But now Netflix, they've got Princess Mononoke, which I know you haven't seen yet.
No, I haven't
but
seen it.
I really urge people to watch that. It's a beautiful film from Studio Ghibli.
Would you say that is your second favorite?
When it goes to second and third, I can't choose, man, because there's so many nice films.
That's
So many. Studio Ghibli is just
Would you say Studio Ghibli is your favorite like anime? Well, I call it anime, but it's not anime. I know it's like Japanese, just
Yeah, they stand alone. I mean, I like action series and stupid series. I love like Escaflowne, Cowboy Bebop. Kind of old
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
thinking about it. I mean, the more recent stuff as well.
I watched I'm just gonna look up something. I want to know what Cowboy Bebop was called in French.
Oh,
Because I'm sure
I have no idea, man.
it was a funny thing, right? It wasn't it like a bit of police comedy?
No, Cowboy Bebop. That's about space bounty hunters, man. It's about space bounty hunters who are all.
What am I talking about? Oh no, I'm talking about City Hunter.
City Hunter. No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
different. No, City Hunters. Yeah.
Nicky Larson in
Yeah.
French. Yeah. No.
No, Cowboy Bebop with Spike and Faye and Jet.
Yeah,
and
I do
Edward.
remember that somewhere.
Oh, it's one of it's the most. If you want to watch an anime which is not anime like at all, and that sounds strange, watch Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Because it's so non-Japanese that it's sort of a look at a European or American sort of life, and it's translated into an anime, and it's fantastic.
And that's your favorite series? That would be one of your favorite, probably.
I would say if you look at just the I don't. It's quite old now. It's probably from the 90s.
Yeah. I
So
think
it's maybe a little dated, but if you just look at the characters and look at the energy between them,
Yeah.
and look at the storylines and just everything, it's a perfect series, really.
And what about the big classic, man, Dragon Ball?
I've not watched that.
No,
I know
man.
you're a huge fan.
I'm a big fan, man.
But we see. The thing is, I grew up in different countries, so I had different things I watched as a kid.
Yeah.
So I watched like the old '63 Astro Boy, the black and white.
Oh yeah.
And the really old stuff, Battle of the Planets.
Did you watch actually like local cartoons as well when you were a kid? Because you lived all over
I
the
lived
place,
all
man.
over the world. Yeah, no. But a lot
Or
of
were-
stuff was from Japan.
Yeah.
Not that
Okay.
you-
Yeah.
No, of course that you knew that was from Japan, but the good stuff was from Japan.
Yeah.
Transformers. You know.
Yeah. You just watched the
You just watch the stuff that's
the
available.
big
as
the
a
big
kid.
the big things.
And then later on you find out what it is, and you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to start collecting that. And before
'Cause-
you know it, you have no space in your house.
Yeah. Because as a kid, I watched a lot of Club Dorothée, which was
Yeah.
the French, the French platform where they would show like all these animes and all these things. And but I also watched a lot of like local cartoons, like Dutch cartoons and stuff. And I can't even remember.
Yeah,
them,
they
man.
don't stick, man.
They
except
don't
for,
stick,
except for, like,
man.
Roadrunner and stuff like that.
Yeah, things like that. That's
funny,
universal.
But
Yeah.
but not really, man. I mean, Thundercats would be
Smurfs, I mean.
Smurfs as well, yeah, man.
But Smurfs, I
Pedro.
think wasn't Smurfs the cartoon made by an American company? I would think that.
Thundercats was also American, huh?
Yeah,
So,
true. And where's Thundercats from? Is that?
That's American.
Yeah, that is American. Yeah,
yeah,
Transformers as well. Smurfs is obviously a Belgian product, but I
Yeah.
think it's been made by a. I'm not sure, man. I know a lot of these French series as well. Like they used Japanese studios to animate their stuff.
Yeah.
And I think He-Man. No, is that? I can't
He-Man.
remember, man. He-Man.
Hanna-Barbera, isn't it? He-Man?
No. He-Man is Filmation. But
Filmation. Okay.
I don't know where Filmation I think is an American company, but I think it was animated. I think it was animated in Japan, I think.
Right. Well. Yeah. Now, of course, in Japan they send it off to South Korea or wherever it's cheaper.
Yeah, just
So
to,
it's just,
yeah. Simpsons
it's
as
funny.
well, man. Simpsons is still drawn in China. Have you seen that Banksy episode of the Simpsons?
Which one's that?
So they it's not an episode about Banksy, but they have the couch gag, in the beginning of the Simpsons they got the couch gag.
Time, yeah.
And this one was done by Banksy, and it was in the face of the Simpsons, man. I was surprised they showed it, because it was a critique on the Simpsons, like them inviting Banksy, and then the like you saw like this Chinese sweatshop drawing the Simpsons, and that was hardcore. You should see that.
Okay.
I really
I'm gonna
encourage.
look it up when I go home, man.
Yeah, look it up.
It's
It's crazy, man. I looked it up. Filmation made a lot of things, man. They made the Batman Superman Hour in 1968, which is an animated series. Apparently, in 1968, they made. Yeah, that's crazy.
I've never heard of that one.
Never heard of that one. Batman with Robin, the Boy Wonder, animated series in 1969. That I've never even seen
heard
that.
of
Never
one.
heard of it.
No.
And then they stopped completely for like almost 20 years, and then they made Brave Star.
I love that, man.
They
Master
made, yeah, those toys were crazy as well,
good.
man.
Good quality, good toys from the 80s.
Yeah, 80s.
Yeah.
And then they just did all these things, man. Ghostbusters, Gilligan's Planet, He-Man and Masters
Who
of
did
the
Dungeons
Universe.
and Dragons though?
Dungeons and Dragons, man.
Man, I loved that as a kid, but
The animated series.
I looked
you
at it
mean?
recently, and it's so
It aged
old. It aged
very
badly.
bad.
Yeah.
I don't know who that. I'm gonna look it up. This on the podcast. I look up a lot of things because I'm one of these guys. I don't know if you know that. I talked about it with Steven as well. I'm a Wikipedia hopper, man.
Yeah.
I go on Wikipedia and just like go, oh, what's this about? Oh, what's that about? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look that up. And I'm
yeah,
just
I
looking
can't
up
lie
stuff,
to you, man. When I talk, 'cause you always look it up.
Yeah, it's better.
You
man.
always look it up, man.
I look a lot of things up, man. But I'm honest about it. I always say I'm looking it up
Yeah.
right now. I always look up because I want to know, man. I want to know everything there is to know about everything. The animated series Dungeons and Dragons, 1983. Yeah. Nice one.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a thing as well that I never. I'm very bad at memorizing. Like, I'm very bad at dates. Like
I love dates, man. I love dates.
Yeah, I love it as well, man. I would like to know that. Just know that, like, the beginning of Dungeons. Yeah, it's 1983. I know that. Yeah, it's just one of those things,
Yeah,
man.
I looked it up last night.
Oh, really? I'm looking it up right now. It doesn't say though. It doesn't say who it's Bob Richardson that made it.
Yeah, it was
and Mark
27
Hamill.
episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's
something
really
like
short.
that.
I remember
it's
it
very
being
short.
longer
27,
as a kid.
yeah. 3 seasons though.
Yeah.
It's CBS. CBS apparently. Yeah. That's
Yeah, I loved that as a kid, but
That's crazy, man. Yeah, it didn't age well.
No.
The drawings. I'm looking at. I was looking at some drawings earlier when I was googling it,
Yeah.
and it's just
It's rough. It's
But
rough, you have
man.
that. You have that quality with cartoons at that time, but some of them pull it off better than others. I thought He-Man, for example, was quite. I like He-Man.
Yeah, that aged well.
That aged okay.
That's true. Yeah, but
And-
Dungeons and Dragons as well. I think.
Well, that was capturing the hype back in the 80s.
hype back in the 80s.
and the controversy.
Yeah.
D&D at the time, you know, the suicides and
It was crazy, man. It
Yeah,
was crazy.
yeah.
And also, like when the role play came up,
yeah.
Lord of the Rings thrived as well again.
Middle Earth, yeah.
Yeah, and people
Yeah.
were like tagging. I've heard this. Like I had a friend who was a DM dungeon master, one of the best actually in Belgium, and he told me stories about like New York people writing Frodo lives in the subway and
Yeah,
stuff,
that's
like
right.
graffiti and stuff. And it was really a thing, man. Like
Well,
people were.
they used to phone up Tolkien, man.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
middle of the night, Americans.
It was
and he used to
crazy,
get
man.
really
There was an awakening.
peed off about it.
Yeah. Of
I mean,
course.
obviously, but I mean, but,
Yeah.
you
But
know.
because I think people lost a lot of interest for a lot of years.
in
it
Lord
wa-
of the Rings.
I think so,
I
yeah.
don't know. I think it's always been there, man.
Yeah, but it
It
didn't
thrived with the films,
thrive.
of course. With
Man.
the films that thrived, and then you had this. You know, it's with anyone who reads the book, man. You always have the film, and then you're like, no, I read the book, man. I'm the true fan. But I had that a little bit, and then
Peter
it becomes,
Jackson, man.
Yeah.
Nobody
yeah.
nobody can say that. Peter Jackson
Mm.
is an amazing filmmaker. He captured the books.
He did. You know what? I traveled from England to see the Two Towers.
Oh,
to see
really?
with my now wife Lisbeth. I came all the way just to see it with her because we're
That's
both
cool.
massive Lord of the Rings fans. So
It's
it's an important thing in our lives, man. We even went back when I lived in Belgium. We went back to England to look at the exhibition of the outfits and stuff.
how was that?
That stuff in real life is so much more beautiful than in the films.
It's
And you know what I mean. Some of the stuff you see is like, oh, it's not very well done.
'Cause
But
it's fast, yeah.
the camera hides it, but the detail those guys and women put into the
Yeah.
costumes and stuff.
it's
It's
amazing.
incredible. It's beautiful.
Just I seen an interview with Liv Tyler,
Yeah.
and she said like the dresses that they were things that you couldn't even see
Couldn't
on
see 'em.
camera.
Nope.
They were underneath,
Yep.
like little golden
it added
stitches.
to the it added to the whole thing being so realistic.
Yeah,
It's a
sh-
shame that her father fell asleep during the cinema. When
No.
Yeah, he fell asleep.
No way. Steven
Yeah.
Tyler
Steven
fell
Tyler
asleep.
Yeah, he fell asleep.
Man,
I know.
being a rock star, I would
Well,
think
it's
that
a
he would
busy
never
life.
sleep. It's a busy life. It's a
man.
busy
And then
life.
he chooses his daughter's
Yeah,
his, opening
that's
whatever
to
fall asleep.
to
But
fall
yeah,
asleep.
You can't blame him.
Even though I would say it doesn't mean it's boring. I think it was just relaxed, man. I just
Ah,
think
that's true.
it's a very relaxing movie. I have to say that. The first one is
First
a
one
very
is my favorite.
it's
First one's
it's
first
very
one's my favorite.
relaxing, man.
It's beautiful, man.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
that beginning, man.
I'm
That
a hobbit, man. I've
beginning.
always said I'm a hobbit. If you put me in Lord of the Rings, I don't care. I don't want to be a warrior. I don't want to be an elf.
You want to be a hobbit.
I want to be a hobbit because
Is
that's
that
what I
would-
am, man. That's me.
Would that your role play be your role play character, a hobbit or a halfling or something? What would you choose?
Dwarf warrior or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I can see that. But
I'm-
in real life, I'm a hobbit, man. I like my homely comforts. I
Yeah.
like, you know.
You can rent those, you know?
You can, yeah.
You can
Yeah.
rent those. I think
right.
it's in Australia or I
New
can't
Zealand,
remember.
isn't
New
it?
Zealand, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Mixed up Australia and New Zealand.
Well, you know.
Boom. Stupid. But you know, yeah, you can rent those. You can rent like I think the Shire, like
Yeah.
well, I'm not sure if
Fax
it's
Comic Con. You can make
yeah,
that.
you know,
Yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah,
It's all the same,
exactly.
man. It's all the same.
Yeah.
But you can rent that, and I think there's probably like things like in England.
It's a shame. That's what did it's terrible. What's the director of Blade Runner called? Oh, I should know this. Ridley Scott.
Oh, really?
It's
Yeah,
like
Ridley
some
Scott.
of the
Yeah.
sets he built, he said they should
Yeah.
just keep them, and they tear them down. But some of the things they make, they would be touristic attractions. It's true.
They would, yeah.
Um,
Because look at I think is it the Universal lot? I can't remember
mm.
where the Back to the Future
yeah,
was
that's
filmed.
probably Universal.
Or the Warner Bros. Yeah, I can't remember. One of
Yeah.
those.
You'll
One of
look
the
it up, I
lots.
think.
Yeah, I can look it up. But you can visit it,
Yeah.
and that square where Back to the Future is, revolves all
Yeah,
around the clock
yeah,
tower.
Yeah.
It's still there, and it's been used in like million movies.
yeah.
Million movies. And it's really old as well. Like one of the first movies it's in is in the 1960s, I believe. I'm gonna look it up
Right.
again. But it's a big attraction, man. There's a lot of people going
Of course, man. Nostalgia.
there. Even
And everyone wants to have a time machine.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that acts as a time machine as well.
All right. Okay.
You see you see what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
if you go to these I don't think the Star Wars sets are still. I think they were in Algeria. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Some of the Star Wars sets in the
Tunisia, I thought, wasn't it?
Tunisia. Yeah, thank
yeah.
you. In the desert
Yeah.
are set in deserts in Tunisia, and there was one guy who found out where they were, and everything was still there. I don't know if it's been dismantled now,
Yeah.
but back in the day, people would visit it and just don't steal, don't touch,
Yeah.
just watch it, and it's one of those things, man. It brings you back
Yeah.
to your childhood, watching those movies, and you're like, man, I'm in Star Wars now. Like Back to the Future, that lot. Well, I can't remember what it's called, man.
I gotta say, you are good at multitasking.
Yeah,
I see that ability. I'm thinking, wow.
I try.
I can't chew and talk at the same time. That's too much for me, man.
I try to be concentrated on everything at the same time, but it's not easy, man.
Oh, that's all right.
Let me look it up, man. Back to the Future set. People with that are listening to this will be screaming at their screens like, dude, I
was screaming at the screen when you got the Predator thing wrong. You said,
which one was that, man?
You said Ian White as the Predator, which is true, but not the first Predator.
No, I know.
I said Kevin Peter Hall. I was like,
Kevin Peter Hall, the really tall black guy, right?
Yeah, the first Predator, yeah.
He's really cool, man. Really cool guy. I Ian White, I think, is one of the very new ones.
He's from Alien versus Predator, I think. I'm probably wrong on that one, but
yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Because the very last one, Predators, that was parkour, a really tall parkour athlete who played the Predator.
Oh yeah.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't know his name either. It's the Universal Studios backlot,
okay.
and it's this set. It's this, and it still stands there.
That's really cool.
It's still there.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if I can show it, but this is it for the people looking.
The clock isn't there anymore, is it?
No. The clock. Well, I think this clock is gone now. This and when you look really closely, when you look into windows, you can see it's a facade.
Yeah.
There's nothing behind it.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And it's still there, man. And I think one of the first.
How is it still standing, man?
I don't know, man. I think it's been really well built.
Must be renovated or something.
I think they renovated. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
I'll look it up. I love
that little thing, man. When they showed Back to the Future and Stranger Things, the third series, they went in cinema. They were showing Back to the Future.
Yeah. That's cool. That's
great, man.
Honestly,
it's the directors, man. They're from the 80s, so they bring all that stuff back.
They bring back,
and
man.
they show it now. Now my kid sees that stuff, and it's all.
Does she like it?
She likes Stranger Things. She asked to watch it again properly.
Yeah. Does she get all the references, or do you have to explain them?
She gets a lot of references because I'm a big geek, and she sometimes surprises her teachers with stuff. But obviously not. I mean,
No, yeah, not in the way we do.
Not that thoroughly.
Do you explain? Do you catch yourself explaining?
Of course. She's like, yeah. And I'm like,
yeah,
sure. It's interesting. Listen, no, yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's
kids.
very interesting.
Kids, yeah.
That's funny, man. Yeah, that's I'll look it up later, man. I'm captivated in this Universal Studios backlot thing, but it's not important. Yeah, I wanted to ask that now that we're talking about children, you've obviously probably started drawing like when you were a kid.
I actually wanted to be an artist when I was 5.
Oh, really?
So as well as being an astronaut and a
fireman or policeman or
not a policeman, but other stuff. Yeah,
no?
I know. I always wanted to be an artist, and but I only started to really seriously think at about 15, 16. Ooh, I'd better actually get working. Then I started actually, doing. Everyone else was getting into music or whatever they were doing, and so I went into foundation course, which was the hardest in England to get to.
Yeah.
Bournemouth Pool of College of Art and Design. And it was a very tough college to get into, and I got into it somehow. And then I realized that it was a kind of a college where the tutors were artists, but they didn't really want to teach, so they were beach drinking. And so after that, I kind of said, I don't want to go to college. I'm not going to learn anything. Not that I was so great, but just I didn't get the right vibe from it, except for my best friend there who basically taught me how to paint.
Oh, really?
So I kind of self-taught after that.
That's cool, man.
But art is one of those things, I wish they would teach people in art the financial part of art.
Yeah.
But the technical part you learn through time. Anyone who does anything can learn something.
Yeah.
Whatever they do, guitar playing or whatever. So you will learn it if you have a bit of, I suppose, talent for it.
A little bit, yeah.
You can learn it, you can teach yourself. But the financial part for artists is something that doesn't go hand in hand.
That is very difficult.
It really doesn't work.
No.
And I don't know if at that age, at like 19, if it would have worked either. But I just wish they would put that a bit more into the curriculum.
That should at least have that basic
foundation of what to ask for stuff,
exactly,
how to do stuff.
That is hard, though, man. That was one of the things I told you about my education, and we got economics. I would say, and it was to get your like a degree that you can start a company.
Yeah.
Now you don't need it anymore. I think it's been you don't need it anymore. But back when I was at school, you still needed that to be able to start a company, and it helped a lot, to understand how companies work, how you have to make an invoice, why you have to make an invoice, how much taxes, blah blah blah, all that stuff. All the fun stuff, man.
Yeah.
All the fun stuff. But you know what it didn't do, and that's what I forgot to tell you. They never told us what to charge, man. We didn't know.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I just had to go out, just think.
Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, I've been doing this now for a long time, and most of the time it's been a hobby. Sometimes it translates into something. But I have people, much younger artists who are very talented, and they say, I've got this book deal or something, but I don't know what to charge. I'm thinking, well, aren't you going to college at the moment? Yeah, but they don't teach me that. I'm thinking, okay,
that's weird, right?
And then you just try to say, well, try to do it into an hourly rate, if anything, because that's what it comes down to. But it's very difficult in art to.
What do you ask? What is it
ask?
worth?
What's realistic? Because people can't. Generally, people don't see it as a trade.
No, yeah. And you might think oh yeah, everybody's charging like 50 euros an hour, so I should charge it.
That's not how the world works.
But it's not how that's not how it works, man. That's not.
Sometimes it does, but
sometimes
most of the time
it
doesn't work like that.
And sometimes it works like you will have to charge 100 an hour to be taken seriously. But sometimes you also will have to charge 20 or 10 or nothing. Just go with the flow and see what sells.
I try never to. I'll make exception for friends.
The
general rule is never to work for free.
For free, yeah, exactly.
So it's a tricky bag. I haven't sorted it out, and I hope. There was even a study done in Belgium a while ago as to why illustrators can't survive as illustrators, because it's actually a trade. You study for it, you practice it, you have a skill at it, but why they can't live off that?
Yeah.
It was a study, and I don't know what the conclusion was, but and they gave some rates which are very low. For example, I've done lots of black and white inserts, and you get so much per page. But the problem is you don't get that on a constant basis. So that's great if you were to do it every day, but doesn't work like that. So
it depends on the company, man. It really depends on the company you're working for. If you're working for a company, it depends on the the distribution on their side as well. Because if you're illustrating something that's gonna be sold for 1 million or 2 million copies, obviously you can charge more.
You want to get a percentage out of it, or straight out fee or something.
Or straight out fee, but it's very hard to figure that out.
I think from most people who are working in it, they try to pull different things. If you put all your eggs in one basket, and you're relying on something solely, like for example conventions, something happens to conventions, you're in trouble.
Yeah, imagine
that kind of a situation. So it's best to have lots of different avenues.
Backup.
Yeah, you have to. I think
true.
you have to.
You have to have a backup, and that's with anything, man.
Yeah.
That's with anything. Just even with regular jobs, you can't. If you're laid off, man, imagine not because you don't do your job well, but just because, go ahead. Imagine you get laid off because the company is just downgrading or something. That happens, man. That's fine. Yeah, just leave him there.
I'll just drop everything on the floor.
That's okay. Yeah. Chris was taking a little mint, to for the. Do you want some water, man? You want some?
I'm fine,
man. Okay.
I'm fine. Your voice is riveting.
Yeah. So what were we talking about? So kind of forgot where we were
about companies getting things from different places.
Yeah. Imagine you get laid off.
Yeah.
You get laid off just because of economical reasons.
Yeah.
You gotta spring back. You gotta get something going, and that's the same thing with anything, with artists, with being
you have to keep it fresh, and you have to keep it.
You have to keep it fresh. You have to you have to renew yourself the whole time, and then try to especially as an artist. I think I think I see artists in a very broad sense of the word, but
it's very broad.
It's very broad.
When you sit at a convention, you can be sitting next to someone who is a gaming artist who will work on games that you play.
Yeah.
Which I've done as well. You could sit next to people who are doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
And so it's a strange. Yeah, it's a strange mix of people.
It's a strange dynamic, man. And I think Comic-Cons are very interesting in that aspect. I I always, I hope people sense that. I like the artist alley. I think it's a very important part of any convention, not only the Comic Cons, but any convention that treats with the subject of art or pop culture or culture in the broad sense of the word. The artist alley is very important because it reflects what's going on at the moment, first of all. And second of all, it's a very interesting group of people because you cannot pin them down. It's not only comic artists. It's
such a variety.
It's very, very... Look at your work, man. It's totally different than anything else there.
That's the idea of art.
And that's
all
cool, right?
Right?
Yeah.
But I've had like... Thanks. But I've had like these famous artists from America coming to cons. They have now some like 50,000 followers. They're big. They're huge. They make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they come over and they see it's so different everywhere. And the funny thing is, in Belgium, it's a very specific way of selling, and you have Americans coming. They're very kind of in your face, and that doesn't always work here. It doesn't translate well. So it's interesting because as artists you travel to different countries. I don't generally. The furthest I've gone is Holland. But you do have artists going all over the place, and it's so different in each country.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
That's interesting. You can sort of talk about differences, and
I was talking about differences. I was looking at our colleagues from Comic-Con Gibraltar.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there's a Comic-Con there. I was browsing the internet, like I always do, and I came across like
our friends in
YouTube.
Gibraltar.
Yeah, it's really funny. And they have a Comic-Con there, and because there were a couple of Belgian artists invited there, cosplayers are invited there, and I just stumbled upon that YouTube video, scrolling on YouTube, and it's all outside, and it's like these little market stalls, and it's really strange, man. But they look really fun, but it's very different. Also, the things that they sell there, obviously the pop, Funko Pops and T-shirts, they're all there, but there were very few artists from what I could see on the YouTube video. So it's very, and there were also no comics at all whatsoever.
That's very typical now.
That's yeah. I know.
No comics in the Comic Con.
We had a couple of stalls, and I think it's very hard now. The comic selling business
is very difficult.
I think it's a very difficult thing to sell and just to get by, and also
there's so much of it now, and
much of it, man.
And also the attention span now is into films.
It's much shorter,
It's much shorter, and people want different things.
Did you were you a comic reader or a manga reader? Was there a comic that you read?
I collected graphic novels, John Bolton, Man-Bat, and stuff. I collected stuff which I thought was beautiful, but I was not a collector. Yeah. The only thing I really collected was anime.
Yeah.
I have a bit of everything,
Is there a style that you like that you would say like that will always like interest me? Like for me, give me anything. Like One Piece. I stumbled into One Piece not too long ago because it's pirates. Yeah. But it makes me feel like Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. For some reason. It's the same feel, man. It's kids, doing grown up. I don't know. It's crazy, man. I just love that style.
I don't know. It's difficult, man, because a lot of people who watch anime or manga think it's all the same, and there's subtle differences that you can say, "Oh, that's totally different." But if you the manga artists are amazing. Yeah. Blade. What's it called again? Blade of the Immortal. I don't know the artist. Blade of the Immortal.
Don't know that.
The artwork in that is.
What's it about?
It's about a samurai. That's all I know. I've got it, but
you haven't read it.
I have read it, but it's been like over 20 years ago.
Long ago.
A kick-ass like Samurai Rurouni Kenshin or Samurai X. Just a kick-ass.
That's cool.
Samurai.
And what is it called again?
What were we talking about?
Samurai.
Yeah. Rewind it. I forgot.
Rewind if you want to hear
rewind it. I've forgotten. But it's beautiful. Blade of the Immortal. Blade of the Immortal. It's beautifully drawn.
Cool.
But the style is so strong. Those guys can draw so beautifully.
What is your earliest memory of watching an anime?
That's Australia, Astro Boy. Black and white. I always imagined him coming down, flying down, and becoming my friend. I was about 7, 8 then. Yeah. But
it's very iconic. Like it's an icon.
The old Astro Boy,
the Astro Boy thing. Like anybody would. That's really strange, by the way. Like anybody, I'm sure that a lot of people in Western culture know that little boy, do not know.
Atom.
Yeah, but they don't know where it's from. I don't think everybody knows that that's from Astro Boy.
Osamu Tezuka, the god of manga.
Yeah. And it was also very influential in pop culture as well.
Of course.
Because there's a lot of graffiti artists taking that little
It's
boy
basically
over.
also saying the nicer side of nuclear energy, that it's not all death and destruction, that
Yeah.
something positive can come out of someone small who's good, got
Yeah.
a good soul, and he does things for mankind, beating up giant robots and monsters and stuff.
That's cool, right? Like Japan had that space
the
age.
ethos.
Yeah. Because the space age is essentially that, man. You can there's American things like I'm looking for there's it doesn't cost too much. I think it's $500 Well, it's a lot of
that's a
money.
lot
It's
for
a
me.
lot of money for me as well. But it's you would imagine when I'm gonna say what it is, you would imagine that it would cost more.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little thing, like a little chemistry set for children. It's
Yeah.
American. It's from the 50s or 60s. Can't remember. I think the 50s because the space age, like the nuclear thing in America was more in the 50s, and it's about it's like a little chemistry set but with uranium, like radioactive. I swear.
Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna look it up and show it to you
man,
after
should you
the.
be saying this stuff online?
Oh man, it's great. It's an antique. It's
Wow.
you can buy it,
Okay.
and there's like uranium inside of it or something.
We just need a time machine and we can go anywhere.
We
man.
can go anywhere. We
Wow.
can we can look at that. But that's
Are you
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
Wow.
They used like radioactive material as well in
What?
antiques. Yeah, in clocks and stuff
Yeah.
to make it light up. There used to be.
Wow.
You remember those little clocks from the 50s that the I don't know how you the hands were light up in dark.
Yeah, that was radioactive.
That was radioactive material, man. It's not enough. You should eat like 1 million of those to die or
Yeah.
to get cancer from it. But those were all radioactive things. You used to have like these big green glasses.
But then again, everything is radioactive.
Everything is
Sheetrock
radioactive.
so
Yeah.
everything
But they
is.
put like uranium in
Yeah,
it or
wow.
radium or something like that.
Yeah,
Something really.
lovely.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. They used to make glasswork with a little bit of uranium in it to tint it green,
Yeah.
and it will light up. It will light up in the dark, man.
It's
It
gonna be
will-
worth it, man. It's gonna be worth it, man.
It's-
You're gonna
yeah,
lose
yeah.
all your hair, but it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. And it was a thing in the 50s and the 60s. You had this like little atom boys and stuff like, and that's what I like. There's a game if you like that kind of vibe called Fallout.
Fallout, yeah. I've
Man.
heard of it.
Oh man, it's the Fallout. So
Yeah. Yeah.
nuclear bomb, the world's gone,
Yeah.
and you're in the Fallout. You're one of those
It's got,
guys.
like Killzone, that kind of a feel.
It's kind of it's kind of
Yeah.
that feel. It's an RPG, which is
Okay.
weird because
Yeah,
it's
that
a
is weird.
shooter.
That
It's
is
a
strange.
shooter,
Yeah.
but it's an RPG because you gotta.
So you have to think at the same time.
have to
That is
think.
too difficult for me.
Yeah, really.
That's too difficult for me, man.
Oh man, I love it. I love it.
You've seen my expertise in Fortnite, man.
Oh man, he's a good Fortnite player though.
I'm so good.
He's so good. He's like
I'm
you
like Ninja.
no better.
I'm better. Yeah,
It's better than Ninja.
I'm Drake.
It's
I'm Drake.
It's Drake. Yeah. It's Ninja on a good day, on a
Yeah,
really good
yeah.
day. So if you want to challenge Chris to Fortnite, he loves it. Anyway, so
we're joking.
yeah, we were joking, obviously. But anyway, yeah, that Fallout, man. I
Yeah.
just even to look at it, it's really interesting
That
because
visual, the end of the world, sort of
that is
diesel punk kind of.
yeah,
atmosphere,
that is it. That is it, man.
Yeah.
That is it.
I
It's
love
really
that stuff.
interesting. I've got some things written down
Go for
here.
it.
We talked about creativity a lot, so that's one of my points.
Right.
But do you have any tips for beginning artists? That's one of the things that we didn't talk about. Is there anything that if there's one or two tips that you think, guys, think about this before you, or do that before you, what would you say?
I would say that as an artist, really focus on what you are trying to sell to people.
Yeah.
Because what happens is if you make something, you can sort of see it yourself and think, oh, that's really cool. I like that. I like what I've done. But to someone looking at it, they're going to have a completely different look at it. They're going to see it not as an artwork. They're going to look at it as a product. Do I want to buy it? Do I want to own it or not?
True.
And it's a weird mind switch because I'm not a businessman, but I've learned to sort of not make stuff for people because that doesn't work, but to focus something so that you're known as something.
Mm-hmm.
So I draw a bunch of different things for publishers or whatever. It's all different. But what I do for MiniGeeks is dragons and robots generally.
Yeah.
So people know me as the guy who does dragons.
Yeah.
It's not all I do.
Yeah,
but
no. Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's sort of streamlining
True.
And it's marketing in a way. And I really don't want to say I'm a businessman. I'm really not. But it is sort of trying to sell what you sell.
Yeah.
Because if I start doing very violent stuff and combine it with what we do for MiniGeeks, it wouldn't work. It would confuse people. And I also don't want to do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So you have to sort of do that. Also look at the business side of it.
Yeah.
And realize that you are probably going to have to, for a while, do other jobs.
Yeah, compromise and do
just
other
get an
things.
income in. Because the art world is hard. It does.
Yeah.
It's not what you imagine it to be when you're in your 20s or in your teens. It's a very competitive world.
Yeah. There's a lot of artists as well.
There are a lot of art. We all like to think we're the only ones, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
If you have a stand, if you're brave enough to have a stand, you're going to see the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's scary. It's
Yeah.
scary, the talent out there now.
If I have a tip, is also, and that's what I'm not good at, is don't get unmotivated.
Yeah.
You can be at a booth.
Never give up.
Yeah, don't give up, man. That's because you can be at a booth and not sell anything.
Yep, I know.
And still,
Yep.
doesn't mean you're bad or good
Yep.
or anything. Just means you didn't sell.
You have different audiences. You have
That's it.
situations. You can have poor lighting, whatever. There's all sorts of different.
There's many things. And it could be that you don't have the right product at that time, or maybe that you didn't deliver your best work at that particular moment.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean that it will not ever happen.
The best thing to do is to ask questions.
Yeah, just ask. What
Ask
do you like
questions.
about it?
Say, is there something I could do to improve? Ask people who've been on the circuit for a while. If you're doing conventions, say what's working, what's not. Be open.
True.
We all learn from each other. No one has all the answers.
No.
At all. But you learn and ask. But yeah, I've known people who've not sold anything.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. Because
It
it's
is.
personal.
It is.
It's very when you do art, it's more personal than doing a job which is not your own.
No, of
stuff
course. Yeah. If you're selling Funko Pops,
Yeah. Yes, that's
you
a
just
money
didn't bring
thing.
the right ones.
No,
That's
I mean,
it.
You could be passionate about. You can be
You
passionate
can.
about that.
Of course.
It's not different being an artist than doing a
No.
different job, but it's personal in a different.
You're putting
sort of way.
yourself out
Yeah.
there, man. You're putting a piece of you out there,
Yeah.
and if people don't appreciate
Yeah.
it could be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But and that's my big tip: never lose hope. Just just keep going,
Trying.
put in the work,
Like
and
I
it
said,
will,
I
will
stopped
happen.
for 7 years after so many rejections.
What did you do during those 7 years?
I built a house. I had a job.
Yeah.
Just normal stuff.
Just regular life.
Regular life, yeah. And I just, because of Lisbeth, my wife, she just said, "Man, you should go back into art." And she bought me some coloring pencils, which is not my medium,
No,
but it started me thinking, okay, I'm play about with it, and just got me back into art. And we tried a convention, and we barely covered the table, but I thought after that, people actually like it, and
Yeah.
so that got me back into it.
that's cool, man.
And now it's like, yeah.
how
it's
long
great.
how long ago is this?
That was 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
That's crazy, man. It feels like you've been around forever, man.
I've been around a long time on
Yeah.
this planet, but
But it really
MiniGeeks, it's
feels
different.
to me.
Yeah.
To me, it feels you're one of the stalls also that because you got a little bit of a particular stall.
Yeah,
for
we got
people-
a big setup.
You got a big setup with the little tent and the
Yeah.
lights and stuff. So it really,
We've gone through 4 different setups now. It's
Really?
learning all the time. Yeah, the first one was a wooden.
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
makeshift,
remember, yeah,
And then
I
it was a
remember
wooden sort of a farmyard thing, and then it was something with 50 screws.
that. Yeah, whoa,
And then after that, we just like, let's make it easier on
Yeah, yeah.
ourselves. And now I'm constantly trying to make it lighter, easier.
that's cool, man. Because the stall pulls people towards your
It does.
stand,
It does.
but your art speaks for it, and your art is big, man. So you just display stuff, and the people will come, man, because they will see it from afar and be like, "What's that?" and come and see.
Yeah, it's weird as an artist, man. Most of the time, people will ignore you, but the people who see it,
Yeah,
they love it. It's
they
just
love
cool.
it.
But,
That's
but
true.
You're never gonna please everyone.
You're never gonna please. That's also a really good tip. Don't expect to please
No,
everyone.
You can't.
It's impossible.
You
Even
can't.
with this podcast, there's probably people listening and wanting to shoot their ears off because they fucking hate my voice or something. But
you got a lovely voice. They're gonna hate mine. You got a
Well,
lovely
no, I
voice.
don't think so. But you know what I mean. It's you can't please everyone. You can't please everyone.
And you can't take it personally either.
No, don't take
Um,
it personal, man. Don't never
yeah.
do that. I've got sometimes problems with that, like people saying things on the internet, and then I'm
Yeah.
reading them on not even things personal, but like I'm like, why are you saying that? Why? And it's just their opinion, man.
Yeah.
It's like the dude says, well, like, that's your opinion,
That's your
man.
opinion, man. Yeah.
That's like your opinion, man.
Yeah.
The dude
Exactly.
abides, and it's
Dude,
true,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Just go with it, man. It's like, it's their opinion, and
It is.
it might be the right opinion. Maybe they're right, but
Everyone's got you know what I'm saying. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got a
but you need to care. Not sometimes you do.
yeah.
If someone really talented tells you, like, dude, you should, if it's constructive,
you can
always listen.
You can always learn.
Listen,
always
yeah,
learn.
just
You're
listen.
never too good to learn.
It's true. Yeah, that's also a good tip in
Yeah.
anything, by the way.
No.
Also in Fortnite, Ninja, you're never too good to learn. Watch these guys play,
Oh yeah.
and you will learn something.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's watching as well.
Yeah, he's gonna challenge you, I think.
Imagine that. Imagine me winning, man. Imagine that, man.
If
The satisfaction.
If you won from Ninja Man, I would be very impressed and proud.
I would same thing, man.
And say, yeah, I play with that guy.
If I
I
would
play
do
with that guy. Yeah.
I would do the same thing, man. If you would win from Ninja, man, I would be like, guys.
Just to clarify with what Fortnite is, it's just basically not everyone knows because it's
No,
a
it's
kids
true.
game. It's basically you're on a bus and you choose an island and you choose a location on the island and you have 100 people and you have to kill everyone with guns or whatever and be the last to stand there alive, and that's basically what it is. And you have these funny suits and it's very colorful. It's very good for kids, but man, those kids,
It's crazy, man.
on Fortnite, those 12-year-olds
They're good.
are unbeatable. I played my daughter, and this, you're gonna laugh, but I got 3 kills out of 9, and usually it's 1 kill out of 20.
Yeah,
She wasn't concentrating today.
they just grew up on it, man.
Yeah,
It's one of those things.
They've got a
But-
controller in their head, man.
From an artist's point of view, there's 2 things I want to say about that. It all originated in Battle Royale, which is a manga. So that's
Oh,
funny,
right,
right?
okay, I
So
didn't know
that's funny.
Ah.
Battle Royale
Yeah.
is a manga
Right.
that also sends people on an
yeah,
island
yeah.
together, and the last one surviving. is the
there's a
winner.
lot of stuff like that, though.
So-
but yeah.
And also, second thing, from a pop culture point of view, like also art point of view, Fortnite, I think their forte, pun intended, is that they captivate pop culture.
Yeah.
The moment, and it's really fast though, like memes and internet and like jokes and
Yeah.
everything. It's so fast, but they still captivate it, man. They take it out of there. They got the little dances that the kids
Yeah.
do. They got Deadpool
It's like
in it
now,
now.
man. Yes, Deadpool, and right now you can land on that bomber thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's inspired at all, but I'm thinking Harley Quinn. When I see that, I see the
course.
colors of Harley Quinn. I
Yeah.
just see it's like
Harley Quinn's in it. It is
Yeah.
in the game.
It's in the game as well.
So
yeah.
see what I
Yeah.
mean? They just captivate, and that's one of those things. That's movies, man. But like they will also just captivate what, like jokes and stuff. Like I don't know, it's really weird. Like this whole meme joke culture.
Yeah.
It's like internet jokes. I don't know how to explain it. It's a meme is an internet joke, so it's very hard to say what a meme is. But it's like a joke or a thing that's going on the
Something
internet.
viral. Yeah.
Something that went viral.
Yeah.
And they captivate that, man. They take it out. There was a kid on TikTok that did like a little dance,
Yeah.
and they
Put it into the.
put it into the
was that a
game.
competition for him. That you
I
could win?
think so. I
Yeah.
think so. There were a couple competitions as well, but
Yeah.
that I think the first one they just took it,
Yeah.
which is also a little bit they stole it, but it's
Man, the money now in
Wow.
games is crazy.
it's bigger than in
It's
movies.
bigger than movies. The
Yeah.
gaming industry is bigger than movies, and the pro gamers, man, I
But-
looked up what they make. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
no,
It's
don't look that stuff up,
unbelievable.
man. They it's like actors, man. They used to make like
Yeah.
it's one of those things, man. And also, they also do really nice. Like I've been playing Detroit Become Human, which is the game is about. I haven't come far into it because I don't have a lot of time to
Yeah.
invest in. It's a really long game, so
Usually Fortnite all day.
because I Fortnite, yeah, of course. No, but on my free time, I do like to play
Yeah.
Fortnite. I like that.
Yeah.
But Detroit Become Human is a very long game. I
Right.
played it, but not enough to say what it's all about. But it's about they make how do you call that? Like robots, very realistic robots, like
Okay.
cyborgs. They make
yeah, yeah,
cyborgs,
yeah.
like very very realistic. They look just like humans, but they've got this little thing in the right, like the right side of their head, like that lights up, like a little light.
There are people with a light in their head.
There are people with a
Right,
light in their head.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
and
it.
They're cyborgs.
Yeah, they're
added
cyborgs,
value, right,
and
okay.
that so yeah, so they're cyborgs, and they help you. Like some of them are designed to help you around in the house. One of them is designed. There's a guy, an artist,
Yeah.
that is in a wheelchair, and his cyborg will help him around. Help
Right.
him painting.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful game, man. It's incredible. The story in there,
Wow.
and it goes wrong a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil too much for the people who haven't played it. It's been around for a while, but for the people who haven't played it, I don't want to spoil it too much. But the story of that, it goes a little bit wrong because some of them, it's still they're computers, man. They're still
Yeah.
computers, so it goes wrong, or
It's got a dark side to it.
it's got a very dark
Yeah.
side to it. Like there's also awakenings, like cyborgs realizing that they're cyborgs, and just
Yeah.
getting that consciousness.
Blade
that-
Runner themes again. Yeah.
Yes, a very strong Blade Runner.
Yeah.
The feeling of the game is not very Blade Runnery, like those Tokyo
Yeah.
like lights and
Yeah.
stuff. So that's none of that. But there's a lot of cyborg stuff in
Cool.
there, and the storyline, man, that is
Yeah.
that is crazy, and it feels like a very, very elaborate movie, like a very, very
Yeah.
well worked movie.
Did you know they're gonna make a new series of anime series of Blade Runner?
No, I didn't know
That's
that.
coming out some point.
Did you see the new one? I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
I've seen the new one.
Was it good? What's your opinion on it?
It's a beautiful film.
Okay.
It's a beautiful film. It ties in.
Was it more beautiful than the first one?
No,
No,
No.
the first one.
the
is
first
crazy.
one you can't beat.
It's
Ridley
just
Scott's
crazy.
Blade
Yeah.
Runner. That film was supposedly so tough to shoot.
I get
lot of
that.
shouting. A lot of Harrison Ford hates talking about it because the experience was so bad for him. But
I get that. though.
no, I mean that's my one of my all-time favorites.
It's a dark movie though. Like no, and really physically dark. It's very,
It's
dark.
Yeah. And then when you see the dove go into the blue sky, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's strange because it's so
Crazy,
dark.
man.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
That's a beautiful film. I
I
mean,
wanna-
that's such an inspiration for so much anime.
Yeah.
Bubblegum Christ. There's even got one of the characters called Pris. And
Oh,
the
really?
band is called the Replicants. I mean,
Oh yeah. Okay,
so,
yeah.
I mean, but yeah,
That idea of the replicants though, like they're still.
it's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, I think so, man. I've
They're
been
gonna
looking.
get us.
You can do the replicant test. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's replicant. What is it called?
Can you do the human test? Because I think a lot of people need that.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who forgot how to human.
Yeah.
But no, what is the test called? I can't forget. I can't.
Oh wow.
The blah 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 test. Man, I can't come
Wow,
on.
that's okay.
Man, that's
I'm gonna find that out as well. I'm gonna take it
putting myself on the
because
spot
I'm not sure
here.
I'm human, man.
What is that Blade Runner like? The to find out who's a replicant. That it has a name, man.
Yeah. I should know it, man. I've seen that film. So many
Yeah,
times.
the guy's looking at YouTube.
Yeah.
The Void Camp
Void
test.
Camp, Void Camp, yeah,
you
yeah.
got him.
Yep.
Nice one.
Yep.
You got it before I found it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. I like that, man. With the eye stuff, it's nice,
Yeah.
man. It's nice. It's well found.
The building in Blade Runner, the pillars.
No,
Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
They actually accidentally put them upside down,
Oh, really?
and Ridley Scott came and said, "Oh, that looks really cool."
I like
Let's use
it.
it like that.
Keep it.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I was really by pillars. I was really amazed by some things, like the actual scale of some things. Some things are very small inside movies, like when they
Yeah.
film. But some things are massive, man. I went to the Harry Potter tour in
cool.
in the UK. It's
Yeah.
really nice. I really advise it to people.
Yeah.
Just if you're a Harry Potter fan or just
yeah,
a movie fan.
you're a massive Harry Potter
I'm-
fan.
I'm
You
a
showed me some of your books.
yeah, I'm a
And,
massive
yeah.
Potter.
It's your generation, don't it?
I think so. Yeah, I grew up with it, man. I was the same age as Harry when the books came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So I grew up with them like
Yeah.
year to year, and in my head when
You had Harry Potter, I had Luke Skywalker.
yeah, same thing, man. It's
Yeah.
same thing. It's a coming of age story.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a coming of age story. It's Luke Skywalker finding out who he is.
I thought
What
it was about one family screwing up everything for everyone else.
kind of. Yeah,
so I
yeah.
heard that from somewhere else.
But
yeah.
but the same family saves the whole world as well. So
but
you
then
know,
the next one,
Yeah.
500 years down the road. who knows?
it's who knows, man. But I grew up with that, and honestly, the scale of some of the things. First of all, the sets, of course, they're complete. They're
Yeah.
real size. But also some of the pillar scenes, man. Like in the Ministry
Yeah.
of Magic,
Yeah.
there's like these scenes where witches come through the fireplaces
Yeah.
to get in
Yeah,
Ministry of Magic.
Yeah, this huge.
That is life size.
Is it? You serious?
That is
massive.
life
That is
size.
massive, yeah.
It's like 7 or 8
That is
meters high.
massive, yeah.
It's huge. Okay, there's a little bit of a green screen
Yeah.
on top of there,
Yeah.
but that's huge. And one of the one of the guys, the guy that sculpted Brian Muir, the guy that sculpted the Darth Vader helmet. Very interesting guy as well. I could talk about that for hours. Has also sculpted one of those snakes out of polystyrene for the set,
Cool.
and that is. There's a picture on his website, Brian Muir. You should look it up. And there's a picture of him standing next to it, and it's massive, man. It's like it's 6 or 7 meters high. Like he's just, just
gotta be big, man, to make an impression.
To make an impression, man. People will feel it if it's green screen. People will feel it, and that's crazy.
We're trained. Our brains are trained, man.
Yep, that's true.
And but it's funny, isn't it? With J.K. Rowling, I read a quote from her. She said, "If you think you're having a bad day, just think of the 11 publishers who turned me down."
Yeah.
And that's funny.
Honestly, there's a lot of things people could say, like bad things about J.K. Rowling, but she put in the work, man. We were talking about putting in the work.
Yeah.
She put in the work.
No,
man.
that's incredible. I love that story, man. The fact she went to a cafe to warm up and she was
that's crazy. The story goes.
She was lucky. I mean, she was very talented and she deserves it, but it's luck, man.
She was lucky.
It's lucky as well as talent. It's a weird.
I think it's Bloomsbury that finally signed her, or what's that?
You're the Harry Potter fan. You should know this.
Yeah, sorry, I should. I think it's Bloomsbury. I'm not sure, but she was lucky. It was sheer luck. The books are amazing, of course.
Yeah,
but
no, she tapped into something people wanted.
Yeah,
and it wasn't really there before. It was there in different forms of fantasy, obviously, but not in that. Not dressed up like that.
Do you imagine? Sometimes I like to imagine that, man. Like, there must be millions of films and books just lying around unpublished.
Oh yeah.
They're probably like treasures.
Oh yeah.
That we will never know about. Paintings.
Yep.
There will be things out there.
Of course.
That are just never picked up.
Yeah. It's
crazy, right?
It's difficult. It's luck. It's really luck.
For example, you were talking about Stranger Things.
Yep. I'm
100% sure if Netflix didn't exist, or if they got the idea just before Netflix, we would never have gotten Stranger Things. Would just not have happened.
Yep.
Just two goofy guys coming over. We'd like to make a thing like a series. Going back to the 80s and like kids playing a role play game. No, we won't do that. But it's based on Dungeons and Dragons, man. Okay. See you later, man. See you later.
Nuts, doesn't it?
See what I mean?
Nuts,
that's it. It's a series. It's based on Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Real life.
Yeah.
That's for me how I look at it with all these 80s and 90s references. It's 80s. 90s.
Actually, you could draw an analogy, couldn't you? I mean, the suicides being blamed on Dungeons and Dragons, and you got the child going missing.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
And also the Mind Flayer is,
yeah.
But there's Will the Wise, who is Will the Wise. You got all these characters. There's Dustin. For me, he's the tank, the barbarian, just going blah, just going into it.
Yeah, but he's actually the smartest.
But he's the smartest.
He is the smartest.
So he's like Paladin. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's like. But you can easily like see 11 being, what would she be though?
Mage or something.
Mage, probably mage or healer.
Mage.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
She's too hardcore, man, to be a healer.
She's too. I think mage like chaotic or chaotic mage or something. Yeah, that's crazy, man. You could. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons pro or something. I don't know too much about it.
I played Lord of the Rings. I played it once or twice, but I love the artwork.
I
love the artwork. Of Dungeons and Dragons.
Anne Stokes has drawn a couple of things for Dungeons and Dragons as well.
I've done subset books for Dungeons and Dragons, so the smaller books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. I didn't know that.
Long time ago.
Oh, cool. Yeah. You still got some of those?
Nope.
Ah, man.
All the stuff, man. After college, man, I threw all my work in a bin.
Boom.
Really? In a bin, yeah.
You were sick of it.
No, I
didn't have the room.
I didn't get what I wanted from the college.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, that's I get that. I don't believe I have any short movies from that time that I filmed. Some of them were, not how bad.
It all makes you you.
It makes you, man.
You'll keep it inside of you, but you don't need to materially keep everything.
That's true. That's true. We've talked about something like that.
I've now started to throw away sketches. I used to keep them. I'm very prolific. I do a lot of painting.
Yeah.
And I just don't have to. It just piles up. It's big weight.
Yeah. I get that.
And I just started chuck it.
Yeah, especially because you're a physical artist. You don't do anything
No, it's
digital,
not
so
digital.
you have all these physical things.
Yeah.
And I get that. But the end you keep the end products.
The paintings I keep, some of them I
You bin or reuse.
I try to reuse, and some of them I have thrown out. I
Really?
have too much.
I get that. Some big artists just, they
Yeah.
discovered paintings underneath paintings because
Yeah.
they're just like, oh no, I don't like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've done that, but that's not how paper works. You can't overpaint.
No
too
paper.
Much.
No, yeah. Canvas.
It loses its intensity.
Yeah. On canvas, I think you can just.
Yeah. Paper is delicate, man.
Yeah. That's because you only paint on paper.
I
right? You
paint on
don't do a
paper, and
lot
I
of
actually
canvas.
use a collage technique, which
Oh,
I
really?
don't know if anyone in fantasy does that. I haven't come
I
across
don't
it
know
yet
that.
because it's one of the things I like children's books and stuff.
Yeah.
And fantasy, and it's a combination. And I don't know anyone who does collage.
It gives it a little bit of depth, right? Like a bit of sharp
for example,
edges.
Here you have to soften the
Yeah.
soften the wing there, right?
Yeah.
So how do you do that with collage? Well, you have to stick this part here, this cut off there.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
It's tricky, and it's also difficult to paint collage because you're painting this on white, but it's actually on a blue background. So it's a very tricky thing, and I kind of stopped doing it this year because I wanted to do something else, but I still do it here and there.
I didn't even notice that, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get a
it.
sharp line here and a faded line there.
Feel it. I mean, it's
Yeah, you can actually physically feel when you're watching the painting. You can feel it where it's been, where it's been
and
collaged.
this one I did at Comic-Con Brussels.
That is crazy. How did you how did you manage to do that in that many?
I finished it, and then I started the dragon. So basically,
Oh,
it's the
okay.
textures. I didn't. The whole thing would take a bit longer, but
Yeah, that's what I
it's
think.
fun live painting because a lot of people who digital they can't take their Wacom and stuff.
No,
But
yeah.
I can get a painting, and it draws
And just
attention. and it's fun.
it's true, man. It's nice.
I
It's
can't
nice.
paint well at a condo, so every time I paint, I come home and I have to fix it because I can't paint well with the
That's
noise.
what I was thinking. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of people there, man.
I ruined the last painting at a con.
Really?
I had 2 paintings with me. I gave up on one. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it is what it
Yeah.
is, and it's still like I remember next month's guest, by the way, Patrick.
Patrick and Steph. Yeah. Shiro.
Yeah. Patrick did in the beginning. I don't know if he still does it, but he did like a huge. I think it was the first Comic-Con Brussels he went to, like a huge virus zombie thing.
He did
live.
a live drawing. Yeah, he's done lots of those live drawings.
That was crazy.
It's amazing.
Crazy as well.
It's amazing that he can draw live like that to start
Yeah.
off with. And he does it with I think pencil first, and then he marks it with a pen. But he's very comfortable drawing live.
Yeah. It's just
I can't. I can paint, but it has to be set out.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. But still, man, it's really a crazy accomplishment because it's not easy, man. With that much people, I cannot concentrate.
The noise is well, you know what? It makes me escape, so I can relax. You can have like a really loud noise for 8 hours, and I can relax into a painting. But it is not fair for Lisbeth, my wife.
No, yeah.
So I've now decided to paint less live and help more in the store.
In the stall, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that.
So
You can still, paint a little bit, or
paint a bit, but not go there to finish something.
No, I get that. Yeah, because you would be more occupied with that and not so much with the stall.
It's a balance, and
It's a balance, yeah.
I'm constantly searching.
Yeah, I get that. I wanted to talk about movies as well with you.
Right.
So, because I know you're a massive movie
I love
fan.
movies, man. I have,
And you're also a massive Predator fan, right?
I love Predator, man. I have a signed, I have a few models, but I've loved Predator since it came out. I saw it in the cinema with my mum.
How old
And-
were you? I know it's very impolite to ask that.
87? Was it 87 Predator?
I think so, yeah. Let me check.
15, 14, something like that, yeah.
You know what's strange with the podcast? Like,
What?
people will know...
89, 87, 89.
People will know things,
Yeah.
like, by heart.
Yeah.
I could blank on a character's name in Harry Potter. Outside of the podcast, I can tell you all the names.
Yeah, you're not 100% relaxed in front of a podcast.
You just
it's
lose.
different. Yeah.
Okay, let me just
It's
IMDb.
87 or 89, I think.
I would think 87. I think. I'm not in 1987. You were right.
Okay,
you were
that's
right.
Yeah, so I was about 14, 13. I saw it with my mum. Not her kind of film.
Well,
but
I get that.
Arnie, man, as a kid, I met Arnold in real life as well, which is
you
also
told me that
very
story.
funny,
Yeah.
But
Tell it, man. If you want to share it.
I was in Munich at the beer festival, and a friend of mine ran up to me, said, Chris, Arnold is there. So me and another friend from Finland, Miska, ran up to him and we got his autograph. I got mine on a 10 euro Deutschmark note, which is somewhere in the house. And you said to me that's like worth 500 euro.
I'm sure, man, because he doesn't sign that often. And he doesn't sign on bills, man. Especially a Deutschmark, which doesn't exist anymore. It's a currency. You couldn't get it anymore. Yes. Well, you could.
No, he was a nice guy. I first gave him my ID card. He said, I don't think it will write on this. So I gave him a note, and he was really fine.
Cool.
It's cool. He was with 2 friends. And the funny thing, there in Germany, he was left alone. He could walk around, no bodyguards.
That's cool,
He's just left alone.
That's Europe.
That's Europe, yeah.
That's Europe.
America, try that in America, man. He would get, you would need security.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I've seen, I know
celebrities.
A little bit of the celebrities, and they in America, I think it's really hard, man.
No.
It's hard to get around. But here,
they leave you alone.
Look on cons, man.
Yeah.
The actors after day 1,
they walk about, don't they?
They walk about. Yeah. They realize oh, it's not the same as in the States, man. I can walk around here.
There's no paparazzi in bushes. There's no nutcases. Well, there are, but
there are, obviously, but not
most
like in the States.
Most of them are cosplayers, so they're okay.
Exactly. Yeah. No, no. Most of them are just big fans and just not out to get them.
No.
But they're nice people, and I was really amazed as well by David Bradley, who plays Filch in Harry Potter. He was just walking around, man. That was funny.
Wow.
He was just drinking beer, He just walking around with his hat. It was funny, man. He's an English actor, so he knows. Yeah. He knows a little bit of Europe.
Those Comic Cons, man, funny. You ended up talking to Jabba the Hutt's tail.
That's funny, right? Yeah.
Oh man.
Who was that though? That's Andy Hurd, I think. Three people. There's also we had the sculptor as well, Toby Philpott, I think it is. But indeed, there was a guy, because Jabba's the Jabba figure in the movie is huge, man.
It's massive. It's operated by a lot of people,
It's
so you got those
by 3 people.
You got those completers, so they're gonna go after every single.
They want every single autograph.
It's nuts.
But it's very interesting talking to those guys, because they're very, very skilled puppeteers. Because Jabba doesn't feel like an animatronic at all for me.
It's fantastic.
It feels like a real thing, man.
That stuff tricks my mind, but it tricks it better than CG.
Yep, definitely.
And I that's a shame. CG is amazing, but we're now so attuned to it, we just know it.
True. That's why Star Wars, I think, will always choose for puppets.
Yeah. If you can get that combo right, that's brilliant.
That's why the orcs in Lord of the Rings are just so good.
Because they're real.
They're real. Yeah. And these cosplayers, they're very realistic cosplayers also at Elftopia.
At Elftopia, the Uruk-hai,
the Black the Uruk-hai. Man, they're good.
They're
so
amazing,
good.
man, but they got beaten up by the kids.
They had to fight. They had to fight with the kids.
Everyone, and those kids, they were
showing
no mercy, man. They were showing no mercy. So it was hilarious. Brilliant guys, but you could see at the end of the day, they wanted just to go home. Put that slippers on, and
the Uruk-hai putting slippers on. But you know what that proves is that they play the characters so well that children are tricked into thinking that they're real.
And they're not. They're initially a bit scared, but after a while, they're just smacking them.
They just smack them,
and I had to go to my daughter was like, they're really hurting him. I went there and I said, let's just play a fight, and we did it softly.
Softly.
But the kid, they went crazy. The guys, these are people in costumes.
They don't get that, man. They just see it as real. That's cool.
I hope they come back, man. But I think they got beaten by this.
But they came back. They came back one time.
They came back with Helltopia.
I think with Helltopia. They came back. What was I talking about? So movies, Predator.
Yeah.
What got you? So you've seen it at so that's one thing. You were a kid or you were young. I think.
Just the design, man. The design is by Winston and the whole history of the Jean-Claude Van Damme thing and the weird lobster creature, and before that.
For people who don't know the Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's an invitation to go back to the second episode where we talk a little bit about that. And but it's
he was asked to, because he came off what's that, the film he did where he fought, it's a really old one, but he was a stunt man and he was asked to do some stunts which were too dangerous, so he refused and someone else did it and broke his leg. And he was told by someone, just get fired and don't make a scene, because otherwise you'll never work here. Blah, blah, blah. And so they had to redesign the Predator.
That's
and
crazy,
supposedly it was designed on an airplane quickly.
But
but it's just a fantastic design. I don't think if you look at monsters and creatures, to me personally, apart from the Giga design of the alien, I don't think we have seen better yet.
Yeah.
And this is what, like 30 years later.
Yeah.
From my personal point of view, I mean, it's just a.
But the pinnacle of like proving that the Predator is a very well designed creature is that they didn't change it.
They made very small, slight modifications here and there, but they're really small.
They're really small.
Changes to the dreadlocks, the changes to the skin, and the slime on the skin,
and there's only a couple of monsters that survived that.
They made a stronger breed of Predator. But he's not as good as design as the original.
As the
so
originals.
I don't think that's gonna take off.
I think there's only a couple of monster movies that can survive, and they're the big classics, you know.
Yeah, Alien, Predator.
That's it. Yeah, and there's like the really old classics, like I would say Frankenstein's monster, but you can still change that. But like Gremlins, man, don't change them.
No.
If they would come back, they will not change them.
But it's so weird, isn't it? With like Yoda.
Yeah.
We love the old original Empire Strikes Back Yoda. And then we saw the Yoda in the last Star Wars film, and he's also puppeteered. But it takes a while for the brain to think that's weird looking because it's a puppet, and then you're like, oh no, hold on, I like puppets, I'm gonna like it.
Yeah,
so it's just a weird, it's a constant weird switch in the brain.
Because in the prequels, it's CGI. Yeah,
that
CGI.
never worked for me.
Wasn't good. No, wasn't a good Yoda.
No,
was the same.
weren't good films.
Sorry? Yeah, no. Well, I don't know.
We're gonna argue on that one.
I know.
We're gonna argue on that.
It's a subject that comes because I'm a Star Wars fan, obviously, but so it comes in every podcast.
Yeah.
And those movies were made for my generation, so for me, they're not as bad as they are for you, because I think you saw
Star Wars is basically a kids film.
It's a kids
aimed
film.
at children,
and you
but
saw
you
it.
start adding political stuff. Like
Oh,
an
yeah, the
embargo in the
Senate.
beginning,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then the
yeah, yeah.
Senate and stuff, and then it's like,
I didn't
who's
pick
it
up.
for?
I didn't pick up on that when I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
I didn't. Totally went past me, man.
Yeah.
That Senate thing.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean?
It becomes a bit. It's a bit strange for me.
Too much.
'Cause
Yeah, I get
politics and kids, they should never mix. I think I'm never gonna.
You know, for me, it was all pod races and Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
That was it, man. I couldn't. I didn't
Yeah.
see the whole Palpatine story.
Yeah.
I saw through
Jar
the
Jar,
love
man,
story.
I like Jar Jar. I like him. I thought he was a cool character. I think people should modify their reactions to stuff they dislike. But
The actor was. We talked about this in the
Yeah.
last one. The
Yeah.
actor was
He
bullied.
was
He was
really,
crazy, man.
it's like in Ghostbusters, man. The women in the last film. There's a new
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. They were.
Haven't seen it.
They were. Man, they got some rude letters, and I'm thinking, God, can people just be a bit more be a bit more human, actually?
If you don't like it, just don't look.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Just don't
be
watch.
a
You don't.
troll about it.
Yeah, you don't have to watch. But that's the thing. You talk about trolls and trolls, man. That's the thing, man. People think that the internet is the ideal platform to just spit out everything, and it's become a real thing. It's become
Yeah.
like, because even media, like real media, have become trolls
Yeah.
themselves by publishing articles about things that are just mean, that are not constructive, that are not interesting ideas, that are not any form of analysis. It's just people saying this is bad, this is shit, you shouldn't watch this.
Yeah.
And that's not a good evolution, I think.
No.
So we were talking about movies. So Predator, is that would you say that's your favorite movie ever?
No,
or?
I like the idea behind this badass bounty hunter, but I mean, as far as movie goes, I'm gonna be honest, the Predator films aren't good.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
The Alien films are much better. But
They are,
as
yeah.
Films, but as
What do you think about
design-
Alien versus Predator?
Oh my god.
Man, that.
We went to see that in the cinema, and the cinema broke right at the end of the fight.
Oh really?
So yeah, so I went to see it again.
It was a good
It was
foreboding.
a fun cinema film, but man,
fun.
I have a real problem with the Predators being beaten so easily.
Yeah.
by the Alien.
I
mean,
get
Predators are badasses. Aliens are badasses. Predators on humans to start up. They're the young bloods. They're the inexperienced predators. But the aliens are the tough ones.
That's
and
true.
then that they take them out. Two of them out so quickly. Yeah. And also it's made by Fanboy. What's his name? The director. He's done some good films, but I just felt in that film, it wasn't for me. Didn't meet my expectations.
Yeah. Because there a big hype around that movie? Yeah, I suppose it was.
You've always got you got your Predator fans, you got Aliens fans, and it's a bit like Star Wars and Star Trek. That's a kind of a funny sort of.
Yeah.
You know,
True. Yeah.
mine's better,
But
yours is better.
Imagine Star Wars versus Star Trek, man. Like a movie like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be successful. It's Paul Anderson.
Paul
the
Anderson,
director.
yeah. Paul W. Anderson, yeah.
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 He's done. I remember I was on a. Man, I'm sounding old now. I was on a forum on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't even think that exists anymore. Like forums.
We're doing a podcast and they're already quite old.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's also a very old thing. But so the forum, for the people listening that don't know what that is, was a thing on the internet with like a group with a lot of topics and stuff where you could write things on, and just it was all written, was all text, and you could write things to each other, and you could also post topics and just it's a bit like Reddit. Reddit is a forum. It's actually an online forum. And I was on a forum called Game Gossip. Shout out to anyone who would listen to it was on Game Gossip. I don't think anyone was on there, but it was a very American forum, and there was one big part of the forum was dedicated solely to the Alien versus Predator video games.
Okay.
And there was a huge community of that, man. I think it was online or something. I never went into that. I was more into the general chatting and just like.
There's been a few now, haven't there? There's the arcade one.
I
then
think so.
the
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 one, Predator versus.
I haven't.
Oh no, Predator as well. You've got a single Predator game. You got Alien games, Alien Colony.
Yeah. There's a couple of them.
Sort of, yeah.
But like Alien versus Predator had a massive following, man.
Yeah.
A massive. This guy Paul Anderson, by the way, I'm looking it up. He's got some things, man. He's got Mortal Kombat, which was
he's done a lot of fan based stuff.
Yeah,
he's,
a lot.
He's a big fanboy himself. He says.
Yeah, it's true.
But
man.
I just felt, for me personally, it wasn't what I wanted.
Event
I wanted
Horizon?
more of it. Yeah, you know what the problem is? I wanted the serious film, and it's not going to be serious. It's like Jason versus Freddy.
Yeah, no.
It's not going to be serious.
No. Yeah,
But that's what I wanted.
Yeah, then if you I
You
get
know what
that.
I mean?
As a fan, you would want that fan service.
I want
I
a
get
beautiful
that.
film. I want to.
He made Event Horizon.
Event Horizon was an amazing film.
That's a good
beautiful.
movie.
Yeah, so he's done some beautiful film. That just wasn't one for me.
No, I get that. For people who haven't seen Event Horizon,
It's a mind.
That's really mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
I was talking about mind blowing movies. I've been talking about this movie to people. It's called Melancholia. It's
No, I haven't seen that one.
it's by what's his name? I want to say Stieg Larsson, but that's wrong. I
Okay,
think.
that would be weird.
Yeah,
Because he does weird films.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Am I correct? I might cut this out. What is it called, man? Lars von Trier, man. Why do I say
yeah.
Stieg Larsson? Lars von Trier.
Yeah.
So
That's bordering porn.
yeah. Well, this one
Horror
is
porn.
this one is crazy.
Yeah.
It's so Melancholia. It's a Danish movie,
Yeah.
and the music is from Tristan and Isolde from Wagner.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it's very beautiful music.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a Tristan and Isolde story as well in the way it's carried in its iconography and the way it's shown, but it has Kirsten Dunst
Okay.
as one of the main roles, and Charlotte Gainsbourg, which is Lars von Trier's one of his muses, I think,
Yeah.
because she's in all his movies. So
Yeah.
and it's about the end of the world. So
Okay.
there's a huge planet
Yeah.
going towards Earth.
Yeah.
No one's, capturing it. And there's this one woman who just, is looking at the sky the whole time. And she's like, shit, man, we're going to die.
Okay.
And she gets paranoid by that. And she's like, how much time has there been? How much time has there been? And the thing has been growing bigger and bigger. And it's very, how do you say that? It's very desolate as well. There's not many people in the movie. So it already feels apocalyptic before the thing hits Earth.
Okay.
And I can already say it hit in the first 10 seconds. You can see the collision.
Yeah.
So it will hit Earth. You begin the film knowing that.
Yeah.
And I just saw a podcast from a very famous French YouTuber asking two cinephiles what their most emotional reaction to a movie was. And the one of both was a girl. Can't remember her name. Her channel is really amazing, though. I gotta look it up. I'll put it in the description on YouTube. And she said Melancholia. She said, I went to see that in the movie, in the theater.
Yeah.
And she said, I was clustered to my seat, and I couldn't get up anymore after the movie.
Wow.
People had to physically take her fingers off the seat to get her out. And she didn't know at the time. She thought it was, psychological, but it was a really intense physical panic attack. That was crazy. And it had kind of the same effect on me when I watched it for the first time. I felt bad for a week, man, for a week or two, and still when I think about it,
that's Game of Thrones the ending for me. I felt bad for weeks after that.
Yeah, but that's different, man. That's just anger, you know. That's anger. But Melancholia, man, that's a tip for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's a very beautiful film. The music is Tristan and Isolde by Wagner is obviously very beautiful classical music. It's a very beautiful classic piece. But that story, man, it's if you're easily scared of those kind of things like big entities and the end of the world, don't look at it. Look at it in pieces. But it's very, very nerve-wracking. Yeah. But it's a very beautiful story. So yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to lay out there. I don't know why.
You gotta say, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Did you always mention Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I didn't mention Nicolas Cage.
There you go.
Thank you for your impression. I want it to be a tradition that anyone who comes here. So Patrick, you're warned, and Shiro as well. You're warned. Everyone who comes here has to do his Nicolas Cage impression. So I'll do it again. Nicolas Cage, man. I'll try to get better at it. I'm bad at it. But I don't care. Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors. Yep. You know that.
And yet you still haven't seen Face Off.
I haven't seen Face Off.
I know.
I know.
And I actually wanted to get it for you for this podcast.
Oh, really?
You said you wanted it on video, so I looked it up on video, but I don't think it will be on there on time. But you can get it on video for a few dollars.
Oh, cool, man. I'll get it.
Yeah.
I'll get it because I'm a big Nick Cage fan. I love the way he plays out characters, and I love the way he's passive aggressive about everything.
What's your favorite then? Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider is one of my favorites, but see what podcast does. Leaving Las Vegas is also one of my favorites.
But that's like a arty. That's a proper.
That's very arty.
That's
yeah. Mandy's also pretty good. That's one of his newer ones. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, man. What is the?
You gotta invite him, man.
What's man? That would be crazy.
That's all you gotta do, man. Invite him.
That would be crazy. 8mm was also a pretty good one.
Oh, that film. Made
That's
me
about
so
snuff.
Sick. That I know that made me so ill, and man,
Well, that was the next thing because I was saying Melancholia and I forgot my.
I'm a really soft guy, so that kind of stuff for me is.
That was the next thing I wanted to ask. So I'll talk about Melancholia. What was a movie that you remember that had like a very big emotional impact on you? Whether it being something like that grossed you out, or something that you would say like, man, that still touches me in the head.
All right.
For my art up until now.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be manly about it. I cry almost every single time I see it. Pete's Dragon.
Oh
really
yeah.
Pete's Dragon.
That's a big movie though. That's a big
movie, but the directors had the strings in their hands, so Disney didn't play about too much with the script and stuff. So it was actually a director could do his own film, and it's a very I went to Euro Disney. I wanted to get a stuffed toy from Pete's Dragon.
Oh yeah.
They didn't have any about. I was really disappointed. So that is one of the it's a big Hollywood film, but it's got emotional. It's a good film for me.
Yeah, that's a big that's one of the big ones though. I'm really looking, man.
If you want a more obscure film, I can say like The Stuff, man. The Stuff.
The Stuff. What's that about?
Oh come on, Killer Ice Cream.
Killer Ice Cream.
1985. I think.
The Stuff.
The Stuff. 1985.
That's funny, man.
Can't get enough of the stuff. It's killer ice cream. You eat it and it eats you from inside out.
Oh my god! And, is that like a B movie? Like
yeah, totally.
Does it have like big names in it or?
Nope.
That's funny, man. The Stuff. American?
Yep, American.
Cool, man.
The Stuff, man.
You like those B movies?
I love 80s B movie. Yeah, I
like slasher or more like
no, just stupid for like
Attack of the Rotten
Tomatoes. Yeah, not so much. That's really going like, but I mean, yeah, just
'Cause that's
B-movie,
really
man. Doesn't
going.
needs a good story. Maximum Overdrive. It's a terrible film from the critics, directed by Stephen King.
Oh,
Killer
yeah.
Trucks. I love it. It's just a cheap
I've
film.
heard about that.
It's just a cheap
I think.
film, but I love it.
A big one for me from that day is it's not a B movie at all. I think Soylent Green, man.
I've heard. I haven't seen that one.
Oh man,
I've
that
heard of
is Soylent Green.
Is
So
that where they
basically,
eat cannibalism or something.
yeah.
Yeah,
So Soylent Green is basically like I won't say what the movie's about, but the big twist is that Soylent Green is this thing that everybody eats.
Yeah.
It's like goop, and people
Yeah.
eat it, and then they find out the big twist
Yeah.
is that it's human.
Yeah.
It's human meat. So that was also a big one for me as well. I'm trying to find that movie, man, with Nicolas Cage. I think it's Tarantino. I can't.
Oh, the new one with the
No, not the new one. Like a really old one.
really old one.
I cannot find it, man. That's irritating. Maybe I'm switching up characters.
I think it's Nicolas Cage and the Tarantino.
Maybe it's True Romance, man.
True Romance, yeah.
True Romance.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a really Tarantino movie. I think it's Tarantino produced.
It's a love story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's Tarantino produced, and
Yeah.
it's made by Tony Scott.
Yeah.
And he's in there as well. I like that, man.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Go see Face Off, man. I
Face
saw that.
Off,
I
yeah,
saw
it
that.
wasn't- it
I
wasn't
saw that in
there.
the cinema,
It was in there, man.
and it's it's the typical '80s sort of action film, which is clever,
Yeah,
like Back to the Future kind of clever.
that was a clever movie,
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that kind of clever. man.
Face Off. Okay, I'm gonna check it out,
Really
man.
get it out, man. That's my favorite.
It is on my list. I have a huge list. We talked about books
Yeah.
before starting the podcast a little bit, and man, I got so many books and movies, and
Not enough time. I know
There's
that.
not
one.
enough
There's
time,
not
man.
enough time.
there's not a.
Life goes by so quickly, man. I wish. I'm gonna say something to. Yeah, I wish my work days were longer.
Oh man, I
don't
get
have
that.
enough hours in the day.
I get that. I do get that. There's a French song that's called "Je n'aurai pas le temps." I will not have time. And he says, "Je n'aurai pas le temps de tout faire, de tout voir. I will not have enough time to see." And it's a very
Man,
nice song.
I'm listening to you, looking in your eyes, just melting at your French accent.
Ah man, it's
beautiful.
I know.
If
It's
I
a
wasn't married.
French romance, man. French
Yeah, it's
romance.
amazing.
You know what it is. Le camembert. That's it, man. Oui, bonjour, au revoir.
oui.
All right. I think we've been talking a long time. Is there anything you want to add? Is there anything you want to talk about? I want to repeat that you have a book coming out in a week.
I have a book coming out in a week, and I have Maandag. Monday. It's in
Maandag.
the shops. It's a children's book.
Cool. Go get it.
From Klavis, yeah. And soon there'll be a book about flower dragons, hopefully by Elftopia.
Oh, cool, man. That's
so we're gonna try to aim for that.
That's cool. That's a
And,
scoop. You haven't talked about it.
It's the first time I've said it.
Cool. That's
But
cool,
we
man.
first have to get the finances behind it.
Everything going.
Yeah.
Because you've brought some books out with your wife as well. Slaughterhouse is one of them.
Slaughterhouse out. I've done lots of role playing stuff. I've done lots of fantasy stuff in my
Cool.
past.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Didn't know about the Flower Dragon project, man. That's cool. That's a bit of a scoop. I hope it. But you're planning it for Elftopia, and
I'm
you'll
trying
see.
it for Elftopia is something special for me.
Cool.
It's a nice place. It's a really nice place. Go
Yeah,
visit.
yeah. I call it a nice place as well, because for me, it's Elftopia is its own world. We
Yeah.
talked about it.
I'm gonna buy the castle one day.
Do it, man.
I'm gonna buy
Do
the
it.
castle because I'm so rich.
Ah, man.
Just a few more million to go.
Nobody knows, but Chris is loaded.
Oh, I'm so loaded.
He's
It's not even
loaded.
funny, man.
He's loaded.
My pants, full of gold.
His real last name is Chris Gates. He's yeah. Bill Gates is his brother.
Illegitimate child. Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it? Yeah. Is your child? You're his child? I don't know, man. He's old. Yeah. You're his son, man. You're
I'm
his
his son,
son.
yeah,
You're his
yeah.
son. So, Bill, if you're watching,
I need money. Send me money.
just a little envelope, man. Just
yeah, it's a few thousand. I'll be happy with that, man.
what movie is that she says like, could I have a little money? And then he says how much, and she says this much.
Oh wow.
That's funny, man.
Wow.
Like about this much.
Wow.
The money doesn't even count anymore. Like, can I have a little money? Yeah, just about this much, please.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. I like that.
Yeah. One more question. Have you seen It yet?
No.
The new It.
No. I've seen
No.
the old one,
Yeah,
the
Tim Curry.
series,
Yeah,
the Tim
yeah.
Curry. I'm a big Tim Curry fan.
Yeah.
You can see him right there, man.
Oh yeah. Rocky Horror Picture Show, brilliant. Yeah.
People who are
That's
watching can
fantastic.
see it. I got a little Frankenfurter from the
Mint
Rocky
in box. I'm gonna open it, man.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's not. It's not even. It's. They don't have vintage toys of this.
He looks like Gene Simmons actually a bit.
Yeah. He does. I get that. I get what you mean, man. But when you look at it, they've done justice to his face,
that's
man.
Crazy. Yeah, they have actually.
It's kind of okay.
No,
and I've
it's
got
really
all
good,
of them.
man.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I like it. I really like it. It's this company
Yeah.
called Super 7.
Yeah.
They work together with Funko.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah, because
I
you
got
can
the
see
same
it on
outfit
the.
at home.
All right. He's actually got it on right now. No, I'm kidding. No, it's they pair together with Funko, who makes the pops,
Funko, yeah.
and they've made all these kind of. It's called Reaction. It's a new company that they formed together,
Yeah.
and they're making all these adult collectibles
Yeah.
in the style of 375-inch little action figures.
Yeah, the Star Wars side. Oh, yeah,
Kinda,
Star Wars.
yeah,
the
Star
old,
Wars
old
side, yeah.
80s Star Wars figures, right?
If you take a Star Wars figure next to
Yeah.
it, it's just exactly
Yeah.
the same size. You see.
Yeah.
And they're also exactly the same make. And they actually make little clothes for them as well, because like his little cape is a real cape. So they
I
really...
just noticed you got the Boba Fett, the fat over there. That's
This one?
crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got it
yeah,
as a
yeah.
kid, I lost it.
the whole
That's-
bounty hunters, man.
Oh, man.
I got
that's-
another one right
you
here,
got
man.
another Boba Fett, I mean,
That's cool,
that's
right?
nostalgia, man. Mine was covered in dirt and just got
This
lost
one as
with it.
well, man.
Oh, that's
I-
crazy.
In the beginning, when I found... Because I haven't played
nuts.
with these toys, because this is before my time.
You
But
don't play with toys, you collect them.
You collect them, yeah. It's not playable, it's collectibles.
It's for adults.
No, but with the first time I found out about these, it was True Quinta, which we
Yeah.
both know. I love them, man. They made
cool.
me. They weren't from my childhood, but they made me think about my childhood so much for
Yeah.
some reason. I don't know why. And I only
They're
collected.
just good. The toys from the 80s are good,
They're
man.
good, man.
They're just
They've survived
nice,
40 years.
nice plastic. I
It's
don't-
very good. It's hard.
yeah.
You can't really break them. And also, I only collected what's called beaters, and beaters are the one that are really beat up,
all right.
like headless and
Yeah,
stuff. I used to only collect those because I
Okay.
really like that, man.
Yeah.
This one as well. It's been played with,
Yeah.
and you can see that
That's
there's
part of our history, man.
that's part. Yeah, that's all part of how
Geek
we.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Humanity. It's
That's
not
true.
geek. It's just humanity.
It's just humanity. Everyone's always been playing. They've found toys.
Yeah.
and like back to the cavemen, they found toys or things that they played with. We were talking about something, but I completely lost track of. It. No, I haven't seen it yet. I know it's a shame. I know.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I'm not sure if everybody thinks that's fine. I should watch it, because there's children there from or
There's
just
the-
one guy from
Stranger
Stranger
There's
Things.
one
Yeah.
kid from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they changed. I think the original takes place in the 50s.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they made this into the 80s.
Oh,
obviously,
it's-
to mix the
okay,
meaning
it's
up with it.
80s.
So it's not in the original, but it's now.
It's not in modern times. I thought it was now.
You switch from the kids in the 80s to now.
Now,
So
that's the second one, right?
second part, yeah.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
But they had to change it from the 50s because it wouldn't make sense.
But-
But it's the whole thing going back to 80s, which I love now. It's this
Yeah,
whole
true.
thing where my daughter hasn't seen it. I want to show her, but I'm not allowed to.
There's a big 80s revival.
There's a big. It's fantastic. Oh, maybe I've got.
We'll do that, right? Yeah, right on after this, man. There's the last thing I want to say that's
Yeah.
really funny is that now we have an 80s revival,
That's right.
and back in the 80s they had a 50s revival. There was a huge
Yeah.
50s revival back
Yep.
in the 50s in clothing and everything. Because when you look at like my girlfriend on the lane was a big rockabilly fan,
Right.
and she said like. You got to really watch out when you buy those rockabilly clothes, like 50s, because
Yeah.
most of them are just 80s knockoffs.
Yeah.
Just like, because in the 80s there was huge 50s revival, and now also like 30 years later, because
Yeah.
I think it started in the
Yeah.
2010s, we have the same revival of a
Of
thing.
course, it's
30
the
years
big-
ago.
It's a big circle.
That's
man.
funny,
It's
right?
a big circle, yeah.
So in a sense, we're having a 50s revival as well. Because we're having
Yeah.
an 80s revival that we're having a
Yeah.
50s revival. That's
Yeah.
funny, man.
That's strange. That's weird, right?
So there's a last thing I want to do before we go to that exciting part. There's an exciting part at the end of the podcast, so
Cool.
please keep listening. Is I think you saw that a tip, a hidden gem that you want to give out to the world, something that you discovered and you think like, I don't think anybody knows that. Maybe look at it or listen to it, or it can be music, it can be anything, man. Anything you come up with that you think like, that's something I know, and I don't think too many people know that.
Okay. I don't think it's that obscure, but there's a series called Dragon Riders.
Okay, never heard about it.
Drakenjagers in Dutch. And
Okay.
it was a cartoon 10 years ago or something on Cartoon Network and stuff. And it's about Quizdo, who's this big, tough Chinese dragon hunter. And Lian Chu, who's a big Chinese-looking dragon hunter, and a small guy called Quizdo, who's the businessman. They both dragon hunt, and it's really funny.
Cool.
It's really fun. It's got strange designs of dragons, so it's a bit like your modern dragons aren't typically dragon-like. So it's got different designs. But it's just a hilarious cartoon of these two suckers who are basically very sweet, but just opposite characters hunting dragons.
That's
and
cool.
I just think it's a big shame that it's not more known and there's not merchandise for it. I'm a huge fan of it. And
Cool.
So that's the gem. If you can find it, I'm still trying to look for it.
There you go. Maybe on YouTube or Daily Motion
look
or
for it on
something.
YouTube. They made a film of it, a CG film, but
really?
the series is really
Is much better.
yeah.
Cool. I will look into that.
Yep.
I got a tip for everyone as well. It's a French YouTuber, one of the biggest French YouTubers, called Cyprien. That's Cypreen. He's very famous in France, but he put out a short movie not too long ago, I think a week ago, about a comedian, a guy who wants to be a comedian, and he comes across one of like the most famous French comedians in a bar. And his girlfriend says to him, like, go talk to him. You should ask some tips. And he doesn't. Like, the guy passes by him, and he doesn't. And he misses the opportunity. And then he meets himself from a parallel universe where he is a famous comedian. And
Cool.
That's it. That's all I'm going to leave you with. And it's not long. It's very, And it's very short. It's 15 or 16 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful, beautiful little short movie. It's subtitled in English as well.
Cool.
Very nicely subtitled, not auto-generated like those YouTube translations. No, it's very nicely translated, so you can watch it even if you don't speak French. And it's a nice movie. It's a really nice movie. So that's my tip for this month.
Obscure, strange things.
Very obscure.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's not famous, but
No.
There's one tip that I would like to give to people about cartoons. Is a cartoon that I rediscovered not too long ago called Gargoyles. It was an amazing cartoon, and I rediscovered it. It was very beautiful. I got one figure.
Was that in the 80s?
It was 80s or 90s. I think the 90s.
I think I've seen that.
I've got a figurine right there next to the Triceratops. That one.
Yeah.
It was a very, very beautiful series. And looking back to it, man, the music, amazing. The drawings were amazing. Those big, huge cathedrals and stuff. It was a very, very beautiful
the
cartoon.
small ones who were the good ones, right? And
I think so, yeah. I don't remember it very vividly, but I rediscovered it like little short movies, man. It's a beautiful thing.
It's in our collective memory somewhere. I do remember that as well.
It's somewhere. Okay, let's go to the exciting thing at the end of the podcast.
Yay.
I already written down a question to make him win. Because we talked about it in the podcast, and I don't know if you can read my writing, but let's ask him if they remember that.
All right, sure.
Because that's original to you.
Sure.
So let's ask him. So Chris has something for you guys to win.
Right, we have 3 prizes. One is an original sketch of a dragon.
That is amazing. I've seen it, and for the people looking at on YouTube, you can actually see it.
One is a print of a
also very beautiful
a steampunk kind of print, and the last prize is stickers and
stickers and postcards. Nice, very nice.
Yeah, whoever answers first, I suppose.
Who wins what? Will you?
It's whoever answers first, I suppose, and then you go down what they choose.
Okay, first one. Yeah. Okay, so what
the
they choose.
sketch is the most valuable if you want to look at just whatever.
But people might want to print though.
They can get the print, but they can get print cheap, so it's no problem.
There you go. So what do they have to? I written down something.
Right.
Chris has talked about a particular kind of dragon, right?
So we have made So what kind of dragons am I painting, and hope to make a book in by Elftopia?
That's a good tip. That's a good tip. They should scroll a little bit
Yeah.
back. We talked about it 3 times during the podcast. So if you've listened attentively, you should have, picked it up somewhere.
It's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult, but anyone who feels like entering, you can enter in the comments. You can enter in the. You can send me a message as well. You can send you can send Chris a message as well. We'll figure it out.
And you can come pick it up at our stand. We're doing a lot of the conventions in Belgium. So
Yeah, just look
not
at
a
any
problem.
calendar.
We'll bring it along with us.
And Chris will bring it along on the 4MiniGeeks stand
And if
too.
you happen to have that image, we can always change it for a different one.
There you
No
go.
problem.
Cool, man. That's cool. And so I'm gonna self-promote a little bit. You can come to Elftopia to pick it up. You can come to JapanCon. You can come to Comic-Con Antwerp. You can come to I'm missing one of them, Brussels Comic-Con in the summer, and I think that's about it because you don't do the Helltopia one. Helltopia, that's
It's
you.
too scary for me, man. Nah, I visit, but not as a stand holder.
That's yeah.
I
You
love
were
it.
a
It's great.
visitor, man.
I
It's
loved
not-
it, man. I had a lightsaber there. I was the only one with a lightsaber.
You just loved it too much to come as a stand holder, man.
You
That's
gotta have a
it.
bit of fun in life.
That's cool, man. So, guys, amazing prizes. There's an original sketch in there. There's hours of work in there. That's amazing art to win. Try to enter. Listen to the podcast. It's not that hard, but get going, So, Chris, thank you so much for coming, man. It's
It was fun, man.
it was a
Fun
nice
seeing your
talk.
collection.
Yeah, well,
It's
thank you.
impressive. When you sit in this room, it's geek heaven.
It's
cool.
geek heaven. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I'm
is.
trying, and it's expanding. It's missing some pieces here and there, but it's
It's
expanding.
missing a predator.
It's missing a predator. I do want to buy one though, even though I'm not
So,
that
you're not a
big.
huge fan. Get a predator.
I still want one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the PC, by the way. I wanna. I'll buy an alien. I'll buy an Alienware, man. Then it's Alien versus Predator.
Alien versus
Get it?
Predator. Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
one. Yeah. All right, signing off. Guys, thank you for listening. I will end this in English because we did the intro in Dutch, so I will end this in English. If you want to listen to us to the rest of the podcast, you can go to Dikke Svekke's geekypodcast.com. It's a very long name, I know. You can listen on Spotify, where you can download it as well if you get Spotify Premium. You can go on iTunes and download it there. You can go on YouTube. You can see the video in a couple of weeks because I always put it out after. I'm sorry about the last one. It's still not out yet. I got to edit it a little bit down because we had a lot of breaks. This one will be out, I suppose, at the end of the month. The video, the audio, you're listening to the audio, so you're already listening to it. What do I want to say? Yeah, if you want to support the stream, guys, what am I saying? If you want to support the podcast, you can on Patreon, you can on Coffee, you can send me a like, you can send a comment, you can, everything is appreciated. I appreciate the input more than any monetary compensation. So just send us the love, man. Send us the love, send us the likes. Tell me what you like about
Give
it.
them money.
That's Chris, that's Chris. Give the money. Give all the money. No, I'm kidding. No, seriously, let us know what you like about it. Let us know. If you want to join the podcast, if you want to come on here and sit on Chris's place, you can. It's possible. Just send me an email and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next month where we will have Patrick Cornelis and Shiro Di Rosso, which are the artists for Virus, and Shiro Di Rosso is Patrick's colorist. Patrick has also done the Rode Ridder reboot. It's an amazing artist, amazing colorist, amazing artist again. So see you in a month. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.